Good morning. Good morning, Badger. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Thursday. Good morning. So good to see everyone. Oh my God. Oh, I left all my stuff out. I didn't even get ready with any of my weed nearby me. Oh well, that's fine. I can get it later. Good morning, Neil. Good morning. Damn keyboard. Diggity, diggity, damn keyboard. Morning. We're moving slow this morning, just so you know. And this is really. Can I just complain for a minute? Can I complain for a minute? I had all my tabs ready for this morning. All the stories I wanted to read, queued up the videos I wanted to show, and my computer decided to turn off during the night, thereby eliminating my beautiful tabs. And then when I went to go and I was like, "Oh, that's a bummer." Well, hopefully I can restore them. Nope. Nope. So anyway, that's okay. Most of them are marked with bookmarks, but bummer. But you know what, world, you're not going to get me down. So there. Well, I mean, you might, but I'm going to try not to let you do that. mm. Oh my gosh, that's good coffee, ma'am. You make a mighty fine cup of coffee, ma'am. Why, thank you. Oh my gosh, I'm so tired, but I'm not tired. I actually got some really good. It didn't work. No, no. I mean, actually, I don't think I checked my history. I'm gonna be honest with you. Let me see where my history is. I don't want to show you because you'll see all my porn. Oh, here we go. Okay, well, that'll give me good ones that I might have lost. So that's actually wonderful. Thank you so much. It also gives me all the stupid stuff I looked at. That's fine. That's fine too. Anyways, oh man, I hope it didn't ruin my little Barons art. Oh man, okay. Well, we'll figure it out. I don't even care. Who cares? Who cares? It doesn't matter. Anyway, we're gonna move. We're gonna take our time a little bit. But we do have at the UN, the Palestinian president is gonna speak, and I'd really like to hear him. The other thing that I saw is, and then I had pulled up, was watching before we went live, is the flotilla was holding a news conference, and so I was watching some of that. Anyway, good morning, Grace Lisa. How are you? Good morning to you. Good morning to you. We're all in our places with bright, shiny faces. This is the way we start our new day. I used to sing that to my daughter every morning when she was ready, getting ready for school. I always had traumatic wake ups, like my dad would wake me up for school and he was just like a monster. He was just like, "Get up." He would shake our legs, like you shake your foot. I'm like, "Oh my God, I hate it when you wake us up." Anyway, hi, easily distracted. How are you feeling? Hi, Lee. Good morning. Good morning, Teresa. How are you? Oh my gosh. All my friends are coming in. All my friends are saying hi. All my friends are coming in. I don't want them to say goodbye. That's right. I just made that up for you. You are doing good. Excellent. I'm glad to hear it. Really glad to hear it. And here we are. It's Thursday again. We are going to talk about Jim Comey today. We're going to read a little bit more about uh, a little business. We're going to do a little business, little data. What else do I have? We're going to talk about Argentina. Oh my God, we got a lot. It is weathering at my house. A bit of thunder and lightning. Very, very frightening. Don't get me started. Galileo. Da, 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 da. But if you know, I'm just a poor boy. Nobody loves me. He's just a poor boy from a poor family. I don't know what the line is. Down in a life for his monstrosity. Easy come, easy go, will you let me go? Whoa, 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 whoa. Miss Miller. Bon matin. Bon matin. I think that's great. I wish it was weathering here. It'd be nice. It'd be a nice change. Although, I don't want to wish on bad weather. I mean, that's not good. But yeah, we're gonna go all over the world today. We're gonna go across the world. Yeah. And read about all the shitty people. Yeah, 'cause there's shitty people in the world. Yeah. Then there's some that aren't as shitty. Yeah. Anyway. All right, we should probably really jump into it. Actually, let me check the Israeli foreign minister was holding a news conference, but frankly, I don't think I want to hear what he has to say. I'm going to keep it 100. I really don't think I want to hear that. Let's see, who we got? Who's that? I don't know who you are. This is the problem. I don't really recognize, but I think what the Palestinian president looks like. And he hasn't spoken yet. Okay. All right. He has not spoken yet. I can find a thing to do. Okay, I'm not really that interested in that. Okay. Bring, 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 bring. Bring. All right, hold on. Things are a little different now that I have to go to my thingy ding. Ding-a-la-ding, a ding, ding, ding. Ding-a-la-ding, ding, ding. Okay. All right, let's start with fuck, man. Let's start with Comey. All right, we'll start with Comey. I don't know. I got to keep half an eyeball on this UN thing, but hold on. Musky Devil, what the fuck, man? Welcome back, baby. Good to see you. Oh, so glad to have you back where you belong. Oh, wait. Hold on. Hold on, please. Hold on. It just started. Hold on. Back where you belong. You're looking swell, fellas. I can tell, fellas. You're still glowing. No politics. Hell yeah. That's the way to do it. You're still going strong. I love that song. Okay, I'm going to start this. I'm so sorry. This is the Palestinian president addressing the UN. This is what I wanted to hear this morning.
In the name of God the Merciful, the Compassionate, Her Excellency Annalena Baerbock, President of the General Assembly, His Excellency Antonio Guterres, Secretary General of the United Nations, Your Excellencies, Highnesses, and Heads of Delegations, may the mercy and blessings of God be upon you. I speak to you today after almost 2 years in which our Palestinian people in the Gaza Strip have been facing a war of genocide, destruction, starvation, and displacement waged by the Israeli occupation forces, in which they killed and injured more than 220,000 Palestinians, the majority of whom are unarmed children, women, and the elderly. A war in which they displaced hundreds of thousands and prevented the entry of food and medical supplies and caused the starvation of 2 million Palestinians. They imposed a stifling siege on an entire people and destroyed more than 80% of homes, schools, hospitals, churches, mosques, facilities, and infrastructure. What Israel is carrying out is not merely an aggression. It is a war crime and a crime against humanity that is both documented and monitored, and it will be recorded in history books and the pages of international conscience as one of the most horrific chapters of humanitarian tragedy in the 20th and 21st centuries. In the West Bank, including East Jerusalem, the capital of the state of Palestine, the extremist Israeli government continues to implement its settlement policies through illegal settlement expansion and developing projects for annexing settlements. The latest was the construction plan for E1, which would divide the West Bank into two parts and would isolate occupied Jerusalem from its surroundings and would undermine the option of the two-state solution in a blatant violation of international law and relevant Security Council resolutions, specifically Resolution 2334. Furthermore, the Israeli Prime Minister announced a plan for what he calls Greater Israel, which we reject and completely deplore, and which involves expanding into sovereign Arab states. In addition to the brutal attack against the sisterly state of Qatar, which we condemn and see as an escalation that is grave and a blatant violation of international law, which requires a decisive intervention and deterring procedures and measures for such expansionary plans. With official support and through increasing facilities, the terrorism of settlers increases. They burn homes and fields, they uproot trees and attack villages and attack unarmed Palestinian civilians. In fact, they kill them in broad daylight under the protection of the Israeli occupation army. Furthermore, the Islamic and Christian religious sites in Jerusalem, Hebron, and Gaza Strip have not been spared the attacks which have damaged the mosques, churches, and cemeteries in a blatant violation of the historic status quo and in a clear violation of the provisions of the international law. Despite all what our people have suffered, we reject what Hamas carried out on the 7th of October. These actions that targeted Israeli civilians and took them hostages, because these actions do not represent the Palestinian people, nor do they represent their just struggle for freedom and independence. We have affirmed, and we will continue to affirm, that the Gaza Strip is an integral part of the state of Palestine, and that we are ready to bear full responsibility for governance and security there. Hamas will not have a role to play in governance. Hamas and other factions will have to hand over their weapons to the Palestinian National Authority as part of a process to build the institutions of one state, one law, and one legal security forces, we reiterate that we do not want an armed state. Ladies and gentlemen, our wounds are deep and our calamity is great. 7 million Palestinians are still living the tragedies of the Nakba and displacement since 1948. Our people in the West Bank, including East Jerusalem and in the Gaza Strip, are still living the tragedies of the Israeli aggression and occupation for decades. Years that our people have spent under occupation, killing, arrest, and settlement, and the theft of money, property, and lands. And this still continues without any deterrent or accountability. Years of oppression, deprivation, and the protection for the occupier, and enabling the occupier instead of protecting the people under the occupation, and more violations of the rights of our Palestinian people to self-determination, to freedom, dignity, independence, and sovereignty on the land of the occupied state, on the land of the state of Palestine occupied since 1967, including East Jerusalem. More than 1,000 resolutions at the United Nations, not one of them was implemented. There have been many efforts, many international initiatives without reaching an end to this tragic situation that the Palestinian people are living under the yoke of occupation. In 1993, we signed the Oslo Accords, and we adhered to all its items, and we recognized the state of Israel. Israel, at the time, recognized the Palestine Liberation Organization as the sole legitimate representative of the Palestinian people. Based on that, we restructured our institutions, and we amended our national charter, and we rejected violence and terrorism, and we adopted a culture of peace. We made all our efforts to build the institutions of a modern Palestinian state that lives side by side in peace and security with Israel. But Israel did not adhere to the signed agreements and has worked systematically on undermining them. Ladies and gentlemen, just 3 days ago, we met at a high-level international conference in New York under the joint chairmanship of France and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, with wide-scale international presence and united positions that expressed a genuine international will to put an end to this historic conflict by recognizing the state of Palestine, ending the occupation, and returning hope to both the Palestinian and Israeli people. And here, I would like to, on behalf of the Palestinian people, to express our gratitude and appreciation to all the states that recently recognized the state of Palestine and those that intend to recognize the state of Palestine soon. We urge all the states that have not done so yet to recognize the state of Palestine. We call on supporting Palestine obtaining full membership in the United Nations. It should be noted that we have already recognized Israel's right to exist in 1988 and in 1993.
What the fuck more do you want? I know what you want. You want them gone. That's what you want.
We would like
so you can build it out.
The UK, Canada, Australia, Belgium, Portugal, Luxembourg, Malta, Monaco, San Marino, Andorra, and Denmark for their recognition of the state of Palestine. We would like to thank all 149 states which had previously recognized the state of Palestine. our people will not forget this noble position. We would also like to commend the role of the chairmanship of this conference, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and France, and also the United Kingdom. We would also like to thank all the states that headed the various working groups and those which participated and continue to participate in the International Alliance for Peace. We would also like to thank the states that are supporting our efforts to stop the genocide and the occupation and achieve peace. We highly appreciate all the peoples and organizations around the world who protested in support of the rights of the Palestinian people to freedom and independence and to stop the war, destruction and starvation. We reject confusing the solidarity with the Palestinian cause and the issue of anti-Semitism, which is something that we reject based on our values and principles. Within the framework of welcoming the outcomes of the International Conference for Peace, we reiterate today before the General Assembly the following points. First, the need for an immediate and permanent end to the war in Gaza. Second, the entry without conditions of humanitarian aid through United Nations organizations, including the UNRWA, and to stop using starvation as a weapon. And here we would like to thank the brotherly and friendly states and organizations that have been sending aid. Third, the release of all hostages and prisoners on both sides. Fourth, the complete withdrawal of the occupation from the Gaza Strip and the rejection of the plans for displacement and putting an end to settlement, the terrorism of settlers, and the theft of Palestinian lands and property under the headline of annexation and stopping the aggression against the status quo in holy sites. These are all unilateral actions that undermine the two-state solution in Gaza, the West Bank, and Jerusalem. Fifth, the state of Palestine should take their full responsibility, starting with the Administrative Committee for the Gaza Strip, which is chaired by a minister in the Palestinian government to manage the affairs of the Gaza Strip for a temporary period, and then to connect that with the West Bank, all through Arab and international support and with Arab and international presence to protect civilians in Gaza and support the Palestinian forces under the umbrella of the United Nations. Rather than
That's how it worked in Liberia after Charles Taylor. The UN had the guns.
Residents of the Gaza Strip remain.
They were still there when I was there. Not saying that's perfect, but
and to implement a recovery and reconstruction plan.
It is a solution or a temporary solution.
And the West Bank. Seventh, releasing the Palestinian
that would be really smart.
That is being held by the State of Israel unjustly, and lifting the economic siege and the barriers from the Palestinian cities, villages, and refugee camps.
Same with Haiti when I was there.
Supporting our national efforts towards reform and conducting presidential and parliamentary elections within a year after the end of the war. The practical procedures has begun. A committee has been assigned to draft a temporary constitution, and it will end its work within 3 months, so that we move from authority to state. We want a modern and democratic state that abides by international law, the rule of law, and multilateralism, and the peaceful transition of power. And we are extremely keen to empower women and the youth.
تاسعاً
Ninth,
نعلن استعدادنا
we declare
للعمل
that we are ready
مع
to
الرئيس
work
الأمريكي
with
دونالد
US
ترامب
President Donald
ومع
Trump
المملكة
and with the
العربية
Kingdom of
السعودية
Saudi
وفرنسا
Arabia
والأمم
and
المتحدة
France, the United
وجميع
Nations and
الشركاء
all partners
لتنفيذ خطة
to
السلام
implement the
التي
peace
أقرت
plan
في
that was
المؤتمر
approved
المنعقد في
in
22
the
سبتمبر
conference
الماضي
that was held
بما
on the
يفتح
22nd of
الطريق
September
نحو
in a way
سلام
that would lead
عادل
towards
وتعاون
a just
إقليمي.
peace and
السيدات
regional
والسادة،
cooperation. Ladies and gentlemen,
نقولها اليوم
today
بكل وضوح
we say clearly,
لن يتحقق السلام ما
peace
لم
cannot be
تتحقق
achieved
العدالة
if justice is not
ولن
achieved.
تكون هناك عدالة
And there can be
ما
no
لم
justice
تتحرر
if Palestine is not freed.
نريد أن نعيش بحرية
We
وأمن
want to
وسلام
live in
كبقية
freedom,
شعوب الأرض
security and peace like
في
all other
دولة
people on
مستقلة
earth,
ذات
in
سيادة
an
على حدود
independent
67
sovereign state on the borders of
وعاصمتها القدس
1967
الشرقية
with East Jerusalem
في أمن
as our capital,
وسلام مع
in
جيراننا.
security and peace with our
نريد دولة
neighbors.
مدنية
We want a
عصرية
modern civilian
خالية
state that is
من
free
العنف
of
والسلاح
violence,
والتطرف
weapons and
تحترم
extremism,
القانون
one that
وحقوق
respects law,
الإنسان
human rights,
وتستثمر في
and
الإنسان
invests
والتنمية
in
والتكنولوجيا
people,
والتعليم
development, technology
لا
and
في
education,
الحروب
not
والنزاعات.
in wars and conflict.
وقد آن الأوان لأن ينصف
The time
المجتمع
has come
الدولي
for the
الشعب
international
الفلسطيني
community to do right by the
لينال
Palestinian
حقوقه
people
المشروعة في
so that they
الخلاص
may
من
obtain
الاحتلال
their rightful,
ولا يبقى
their
رهينة
legitimate rights to
لمزاج
be rid
السياسة
of the occupation
الإسرائيلية
and to not remain a
التي
hostage
تنكر علينا
to the
حقوقنا
temperament of
الأساسية
Israeli politics,
وتواصل
which
الظلم
denies our
والقهر
rights and
والعدوان.
continue
نحن
in their injustice,
ماضون في
oppression, and
طريقنا
aggression. We are
وسنواصل
continuing to
النضال
move forward, and we
السلمي
will continue
والقانوني
our peaceful,
والدبلوماسي
legal, and
من
diplomatic
أجل
fight
نيل
to
I
حقوقنا.
mean, it
obtain
could be.
our rights.
وفي الختام نقول
In conclusion,
لأبنائنا وبناتنا
we
في
say to our
الوطن
sons and
وفي
daughters in the
المنافي وفي
homeland,
الشتات
in the exile, and in
إن
the
الجراح
diaspora,
مهما نزفت
no matter
وإن
how much our
المعاناة
wounds bleed,
مهما طالت
and no matter how long the
فإنها
suffering
لن
lasts,
تكسر
it will
فينا
not
إرادة
break
الحياة
our will to
والبقاء
live and survive.
فيبزغ فجر
The
الحرية
dawn of freedom will emerge,
وترفرف علم
and the
فلسطين
flag of
عاليا
Palestine
في
will fly
سمائنا
high in our skies
رمزا للكرامة
as a symbol of dignity,
والصمود
steadfastness,
والتحرر من نير
and being free
الاحتلال.
from the yoke of
فلسطين
occupation.
لنا
Palestine is ours.
درة قلوبنا
Jerusalem is the jewel of our heart
الأبدية.
and our eternal
لن نغادر
capital.
وطننا
We will not leave
ولن
our
نرحل عن
homeland.
أرضنا
We will not leave
وسيبقى
our lands.
شعبنا متجذرا
Our people will
كالزيتون
remain rooted like the
ثابتاً
olive trees,
كالصخر.
firm as the
ينهض
rocks.
من تحت
We will
الركام
rise from
ليبني
under the
من
rubble
جديد
to rebuild
ويرسل من
and to
أرضه
send from our
المباركة
Charles
blessed
Taylor,
and holy land
yeah.
messages of hope
وصوت
Oh, boy.
الحق
and the sound of
وجسور
truth and
السلام
right, and
العادل
build the bridges
لشعوب
That's
منطقتنا
of
cool.
just peace for the
وللعالم
people of our
بأسره
region and the
والسلام
entire world.
عليكم
May
ورحمة
the
الله
peace and mercy and blessings of God be upon you.
Show the U.S. Show the U.S. Show the U.S. No. Okay. Show Israel. Hi, Paul J.
On
Let's
behalf
see.
of the Assembly, I wish to thank His Excellency Mahmoud Abbas, President of the State of Palestine.
Okay, I think I'm going to go because we have a lot. I'm going to keep an eye on this, but we have a lot of stuff to read. So I'm going to probably move us out of that. Free Palestine, absolutely. God bless America. I really, I think we're entering an interesting conversation. You said go, and I was like, what? No, I just no, I don't think I'm gonna. Like watch the next speeches because we have a lot. We have a lot of information to go through this morning, and I intend to do it. Damn it, no. I think we're entering an interesting conversational time. This is just my hot take. This means nothing, right? Like whatever. But I think the interesting conversation, I'm going to say I want to choose my words carefully because I don't always conversation is around what did you know and when did you know it, right? And what I mean by that is that the ills of our fathers, the crimes of our fathers, the way the United States has conducted itself throughout history, right? The way the United States has conducted itself throughout history uh, has has meant that we collectively, generation after generation, have been complicit, if not supportive, of the ill deeds of any administration, right? CIA, covert killings, regime change, surveillance, all of the things, all of the you know, the scandals that even were reported on and that we knew about and that were played out, like Iran Contra, some of that played out in front of the public, right? So as a people, we could not claim that we didn't know, right? Right? We didn't know. We couldn't claim that because a lot of it was reported. Not all of it, but then Edward Snowden and other things, we started to see what was actually happening or whatever, like it was kind of known among the collective. And I think that rightfully so, there are a lot of people who say, well, too bad. Why were you complicit for so long? Right? And I think I'm hopeful that when that conversation starts to bubble up, that that we are able to satisfy both the people who are like, why didn't you do more to stop it? And then the people who are like, like we voted how we voted, that was our thing and protest, etc. But of course it was never enough, and it wasn't, it is kind of like you look back and go, we didn't, we a lot of this was allowed and just not, we never pushed, or there wasn't as large a push, I should say. There wasn't like critical mass. And I fear that that conversation will bog us down. So I both want us to have the conversation and for people to feel like they're being heard about their emotions or whatever their passion around it. But then also, people are being heard, but then also that we're able to move forward productively. And that the goal is deeper education and a reflection on how does a society not allow those transgressions? How do they react more effectively, faster, to hold government accountable? And so I don't know. I'm just getting a lot of, when I watch social media, TikTok, all kinds of different things, I'm really getting the sense that that can be a conversation that's going to get in our way. Sorry. Is going to get in the way of democracy. Yeah, exactly. I'm excited about the reform too. And that's why, can we move forward with that together and not focus on blame or holding account? At the same time, not shutting down that conversation, if that makes sense. Like, I don't want to shut down the criticism of past generations. At the same time, I don't want to get bogged down in it or, let the perfect be the enemy of the good. You know what I mean? So that's my spidey sense right now. And I'm very excited about radical transparency, reform, people-based decision making, right? Putting people at the center of your decision making, for fuck's sake. So I'm very excited about that. And and I do think that there's a lot to be accountable for, right? There's a lot to be accountable for, for for I don't know, being complicit or not challenging more or whatever it is. But I just hope that we can maintain some momentum together so that we can push the reforms, push, get the Mamdanis elected, all of that, right? And do it together. But don't let, I don't think we should ever be off the hook. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? I want there to be a balance of like accountability and like, hey, come on now. You have to admit that this was like really fucked up and da 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 da. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, that just was on my mind. Hi, Gal. Sorry. I was trying to just make sure I got through that silly thought process that I had. I didn't see the Maria Ressa interview yet, but of course I love Maria Ressa. We know that. I just bought her book, actually. I just bought her book. I bought the Audible version of it so that I could listen to it because I wanted to hear her say it too. But yeah, I just bought that. I should probably play that in Discord. Maybe we could listen to it together in Discord. Yeah, thanks for catching it. That's so great. I'm excited too. Oh, her speech at the UN. Oh my God. Well, let's play it. I should be able to find it. For me, not letting leaders of any generation who are complicit to be allowed power. Absolutely, Meowing Star. Thank you. That's a good point. And I just think I do not want to just put people off the hook, right? Like I'm not trying to say that, and I'm probably not doing a great job of it, but that's what I'm trying to say is that is there a balance? And certainly for the leaders of it and the instigators, is there accountability? I mean, justice needs to still be wielded, right? That can't. Our infrastructure is complicity. I know. I understand that. And so that's where I'm like, yeah, no, I totally understand what you're saying. Our infrastructure is our complicity. So much. I don't know. It's a tough one. I have a little bit of fear. I know the Democrat Party supports Israel. Do they now? I mean, I kind of would be interested to see if if any evolution has happened within the leadership of the Democrat Party. We should look at the open secrets on the AIPAC donations and shit like that. We should do that. We need to get rid of Citizens United. I don't know how to say it we just need to get rid of PACs. That's ridiculous. That's so ridiculous. All right. Well, I actually really do want to listen to Maria Ressa because she's just one of my favorite.
Now to give the
Stop. She's one of my favorite people. She's one of our favorite people. Love her. And she loves the lounge. And she loves the lounge. Okay, here we go.
Floor to Ms. Maria Ressa, 2021 Nobel Peace Prize laureate, award-winning journalist, professor at Columbia University, co-founder of Rappler online news site, and a fearless defender of freedom of expression in the face of constant political harassment and arrests.
President Baerbock, Secretary General Guterres, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. I'm normally chasing you here, and here I am. It's actually a very interesting place. Look, 80 years ago, this institution was born to prevent humanity from destroying itself. Never again, after fascism manipulated information, eroded truth, and dehumanized entire populations to enable genocide and global war. Today, we stand on the rubble of the world that was, and the challenge is to rebuild the United Nations for now, for this moment, when similar forces that led to those atrocities 80 years ago are now surging through digital platforms, insidiously manipulating us for power and profit. The biggest battle we face today is impunity, and it leads to our dehumanization in both the physical world, where wars rage from Ukraine to Gaza, and in the virtual world, where our minds and emotions are manipulated by surveillance capitalism for profit. To fight that, we need information integrity to remind us to be human. I became a journalist because information is power. But news groups lost our gatekeeping powers when an atom bomb exploded in our information ecosystem, a technological one that's silently destroying the very foundations the UN was built to protect. This is the deadliest period for journalists in recorded history. More than 240 journalists killed in Gaza alone. More than died in World War I, World War II, Vietnam, and the former Yugoslavia combined. This is unprecedented. They're targeted, and there must be accountability. We're living through an information Armageddon, where lies spread 6 times faster than facts on social media. That's a 2018 MIT study. It is so much worse today with generative AI. And the 3 sentences I've said over and over since 2016, without facts, you can't have truth. Without truth, you can't have trust. Without these 3, we don't have a shared reality. We can't begin to solve any problems, let alone the existential ones you heard from the speakers before me. We cannot have journalism, we cannot have electoral integrity, we cannot have democracy. This is manipulation of human behavior at the cellular levels of our countries. Algorithms reward outrage over empathy, spreading fear, anger, and hate, pumping us full of toxic sludge. Regulating technology isn't a free speech issue, it's about public safety. Because as has been proven time and time again, online violence is real-world violence. As a Filipino, I'm proud that my country was a charter member of the United Nations, one of only 3 Asian founding nations. Our commitment to multilateralism and peace runs deep. But that legacy was tested under the Duterte administration. Among the actions it took, it filed 11 criminal charges against me in a little over a year. Until today, I still need Supreme Court approval to be here. But I'm here. And my former president, well, he was arrested in March for alleged crimes against humanity and is detained at The Hague waiting for trial. Impunity ends. The rule of law,
because of her,
championed now by the Philippines as it chairs the 6th Committee on Legal Questions, ultimately prevailed. We moved to it. The trends are clear. We are electing illiberal leaders democratically. As of March this year, VDEM said that 72% of the world is now under authoritarian rule. So we turn to you at the UN. It has its critics because you have to move faster. Security Council votes paralyze action on major crises. Outdated representation excludes rising powers. Bureaucratic processes respond too slowly to urgent threats. But as you know, the solution isn't to abandon multilateralism, it's to strengthen it by addressing the very impunity that undermines international law. At this time of creative destruction, I implore you to create. Here are 3 solutions. First, end big tech impunity through global accountability. We need binding standards for international to restore and regulate information integrity, just as we have for nuclear weapons and climate change. There are two new initiatives. First, from the Vatican, created last weekend with His Holiness Pope Leo XIV, a declaration demanding artificial intelligence remain under human control with clear accountability mechanisms. The second one will be launched later today, a global call for AI red lines, which more than 200 of us have signed. We urge your governments to establish clear international boundaries to prevent universally unacceptable risks for AI, at the very least define what AI should never be allowed to do. Second, build alternative infrastructures for trust. It isn't just big tech that failed to protect the public in the virtual world. It's also you, the governments. At Rappler, we built a chat app using open source protocols. Countries that care about data privacy, France, Germany, all their government websites are on the Matrix protocol. It allows real people to talk to real people without manipulation. The vision is a global federation of trusted news organizations, because this is how journalism will survive and how we begin to build infrastructures of trust. Finally, the third one, create, that's our word today. Invest in comprehensive solutions. Let your imagination run. 3 examples that's happening now. More than 3/4 of UN members now recognize Palestinian statehood, showing that international law can advance despite impunity. On gender, the Nobel Women's Initiative have pointed out, demonstrated that in nearly every conflict around the world, women are leading efforts for peace, defying displacement, patriarchy, gender apartheid, and militarized violence every day. And finally, on Wednesday, Demokrasya Siyempre, 20 nations will pledge to strengthen democratic institutions and fight for information integrity. More than 40 Nobel laureates we have gathered together to support this multilateral initiative led by the Global South. Information integrity is the mother of all battles. Win this, and we can win the rest.
Yes.
Lose this, and we lose everything.
Say.
Please choose courage over comfort, facts over fiction, hope over fear. A lot has changed since the UN was created 80 years ago. But its values, peace, human rights, justice, rule of law, these are more essential today than ever. It is time to create again, to build better, together. Please, act now, before it's too late. Thank you.
I thank Maria Ressa also.
She's amazing. I don't know. Who, I can't recall who suggested her documentary. Was it you? Was it Oren? Or was it Jane? Or was it someone else? I'm so glad we watched it. God, thank you, Gal. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate you sending that. I know. Gal has the best content. I'm sorry. Not you? Okay. Might have been Oren. Please, no, you didn't have to. No, that's not an interruption at all. That's exactly what we needed to hear. Exactly what we needed to hear. Wow. that woman is just amazing. That woman is just amazing. I think I'm so, like, it's not about censorship. It's not about all that. It's about information integrity. It's about being able to understand what you're consuming. It's so beautiful. Like, I think that's so beautiful. Mm. She is really, truly inspirational. We definitely should share that speech as much as possible. Yeah, that sentence is perfect. Yeah, yeah, you can interrupt with her. Are you consuming ivermectin? Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay. Let's see. Where do I want to go to from there? Because I want to make sure gosh, my clips are really terrible. Oh, you know what? Well, no, that's too much. We'll use that for later I have a palette cleansing video for you at the end. All right, let's go ahead. Actually, let's read something because we'll break it up that way. All right. Speaking speaking of despots. Speaking of despots. That was so perfect. I know, and we need to quote it. It would be great to clip that. We need a 2028 candidate that says that all day, every day. Wow. I have no idea. I'm not sure what's going to happen. I don't know. It's a complete, yeah, no worms. Mr. Ed reminds me of the Mr. Ed show. And they called him Mr. Ed. It is humid too. Both of those things are true. Okay. All right. I wanted to read this. This was can't recall if I got this from someone, so I apologize. Everything you guys share is what I kind of like. I kind of steal. So just know that you're actually helping to produce this show, but I just steal the stuff that you guys share. That's all I do. Sarkozy has been sentenced to 5 years in jail after being found guilty of criminal conspiracy. Yeah, sure did. Sarkozy. Wasn't he dating an Olsen twin? Wasn't he? Wasn't he dating an Olsen twin? He was the former president of France. And this was around, oh shit, what was this around? Was this around some armed conflict? Now I can't remember. Ow, hold on. Sarkozy. Sarkozy. Sarkozy guilty. Oh, Libyan money. That's what it is. Okay. Yep. Hold on. Da, 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 da. Here we go. Yeah. Gonna suck. I think his brother is dating an Olsen twin. Right? Yeah, right? I'm right. I think I'm right. I think I'm right. I put a thread together this morning on something that many people don't know much about, but that can explain a lot about the violence and ideology of the threat we're facing. Oh, excellent. Yes, he was married to Carla Bruni. Yes. Maybe. No. I don't think so, Lee. I think it was his brother. I think his brother is the one who may have married an Olsen twin. I don't even know. All right, so he's been given from the BBC. He's been given 5-year sentence after Libya case. Former French President Nicolas Sarkozy has been sentenced to 5 years in jail after being found guilty of criminal conspiracy in a case related to millions of euros of illicit funds from the late Libyan leader Colonel Muammar Gaddafi. The Paris Criminal Court acquitted him of all other charges, including passive corruption and illegal campaign financing. The ruling means he will spend time in jail even if he launches an appeal, which Sarkozy says he intends to do. Speaking after Thursday's hearing, the 70-year-old who was president from 2007 to 12 said the verdict was extremely serious for rule of law. Ooh. Claiming it was politically motivated. Was accused of using the funds from Gaddafi to finance his 2007 election campaign. In exchange, the prosecution alleged Sarkozy promised to help Gaddafi combat his reputation as a pariah with Western countries. Well, that's kind of a loose agreement. What? Non-twin? No. He dated like an actual. I know this. God damn it! Now I'm gonna have to look at that. Now I'm gonna have to look at that. I'm gonna have to look up which Olsen twin married a Sarkozy. I'm doing it. Not Elizabeth. No, it's one of the actual boyfriends. No, Sarkozy. Yeah, hello. Yeah, okay. Here we go. Yeah, this is important. So just calm down. Mary Kate. Mary Kate and Olivier Sarkozy's relationship. 6 years after marrying in 2015, Mary Kate Olsen. Oh, they got divorced in 2021. Dang it. That's them. Don't they look happy? Oops. Get out of here. Don't they look adorable? I mean, she's the overly thin. They're both pretty thin. But anyway, that's yeah. That's the news you need to know. Wait a minute. Oh my God, you're coming in too fast. You're coming in hot. Hold on, gal. Let me make sure I get this other one. Let me make sure I get this one. Okay. What is this? Okay, good. We're going to go to the lone wolf thing. What? This is from Gal. I'm looking for a grand jury not to indict. Yeah, I have stories on that too. Just hold on. I'm getting to all of it this morning. Don't you worry about it. I got you. You're in good hands. What? No. Okay. Anyway, exclusive Dan Lamoth, and this is from Gal. Thank you. Defense Secretary Pete Pigsbreath has ordered hundreds of the U.S. military's generals and admirals to gather on short notice and without a stated reason at a Marine Corps base in Virginia next week, sowing confusion and alarm in the ranks. HEGSEC orders are rare. Here we go. Oh, okay, hold on just a second. Don't panic. Do not panic. Do not panic. Don't panic. It's okay. Bump, bump, bump. You better work. Sorry about this. Okay, anyway. All right, well, never mind, Dan. I can't see your fucking story. Okay. Hold on. Flood the lounge. Just read his thread. Just read his thread. Oh, okay, great. All right. Hegseth orders a rare urgent meeting of hundreds of generals and admirals. The highly unusual directive was sent to virtually all of the military's top commanders worldwide. Wow. According to more than a dozen people familiar with the matter, the directive was issued earlier this week. In a statement Thursday, Pentagon spokesman Sean Parnell, isn't he a J6er? Am I wrong about that? I really thought he was. Affirmed that Pigsbreath will be addressing his senior military leaders early next week, but he offered no additional details. Hi, Mask says. Hi, babe. How are you? Oh my gosh, good to see you. The Pentagon voiced no objection to the Post reporting about the meeting. Oh, because they have to ask permission now. This is insane. It'll never stop shocking me that Curtis Yarvin, Mencius Moldbug, Incel Troll Mencius Moldbug to one of the Dark Enlightenment leaders. I mean, Meowing Star, you're not alone about that. I know, I hate these people too, Grace Lisa. It's very strange and unheard of, Gal says. It is a ton of coordination. I mean, that's the thing. It's worldwide. Oh my God. Got to inform them we've always been at war with Eurasia. That's true. I mean, it's not funny, but it's true. It's not funny, but it's true. Ugh. Okay. Let me go ahead and do this because then I have a video about Jim Comey. It's just ridiculous. And no one can find out and report why. Well, and I love that. I actually appreciate that they're mentioning specifically this has been allowed by the Pentagon to be reported. I think every journalist needs to put that caveat on every story, because that's an important documentation of the oppression of the Defense Department on free speech, on journalism. I think. That's what I think. I don't know. What do I know? Here we go. All right, the very definite. Now we're switching gears to Jim Comey. This is Preet Bharara, Joyce Vance's actually. Sorry, Joyce Vance's a Substack. This is from yesterday. The very definition of selective and vindictive prosecution. No one should be wrongfully prosecuted because a president wants revenge. But here we are. Although he was beaten to the jump when interim U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia, Eric Siebert, resigned, Donald Trump wanted Siebert out of office to the point of claiming publicly that he had fired him. But Siebert wasn't a Biden holdover. He had been nominated just months earlier for the permanent position by Trump himself. Trump has demonstrated a concerning level of personal interest in a number of cases that are under investigation in the Eastern District. Oh, and he keeps replacing all the lawyers with his own personal lawyers. What the hell? That has to be wrong. Okay. Especially when he's been convicted of shit. I mean, come on. Trump has demonstrated a concerning level. Okay, sorry. There is a matter involving former FBI Director Jim Comey, whom Trump fired during his first term in office and maintained a high-stakes grudge match with ever since. There are also at least 2 of the mortgage fraud cases Trump is now using to go after his self-proclaimed enemies, with an assist from Bill Pulte, Trump's director of Federal Housing Finance Agency and chairman of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, who has access to mortgage documentation and is a fucking frat boy idiot. The cases, that wasn't written in there. The cases center around claims that people, notably all folks who've managed to get on the president's bad side, engaged in mortgage fraud by making false statements when they purchased second homes. Pulte has provided the evidence in at least some of the cases, which is exactly not how the government usually prosecutes cases. To release a bunch of evidence. Kash Patel. Siebert fell under fire when he declined to indict a case involving New York's Attorney General Letitia James. She's on Trump's enemies list because she prosecuted his company for fraud and won, and has also led the charge on much of the litigation by state attorneys general against his new administration. The office also appears to have a mortgage fraud case open on California Senator Adam Schiff. Oh, that's it? Oh, I thought she had more. Okay. But then, this is, oops, okay, sorry. I did that wrong. Stop. Okay, stop. Hammer time.
We are following, as we promised, breaking news. It's out of the Eastern District of Virginia, where
that was Joyce Vance.
Tell MSNBC former FBI Director James Comey is expected to be indicted in the coming days. The full extent of the charges being prepared against Comey is unclear. Joining us now, MSNBC Justice and Intelligence
I hope it goes well at the
correspondent
Dr.
Ken
Meowing
Dilanian
Star.
and
Love
MSNBC
you.
Senior
Take care.
Investigative
See
Correspondent
you later,
Carol
darling.
Lenig, Chris O'Leary, Ashley Parker, still with us. Carol, help us understand the reporting.
So, Katie, we have some sources who say that for several weeks now, the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Eastern District of Virginia, and actually in offices that are potentially much further south than Alexandria, have been eyeing ways to indict Comey, and they are getting very much closer. The statute of limits, rephrase, they are arguing that Comey, there is evidence to suggest Comey lied to Congress in his testimony on the Hill in September of 2020. And for viewers out in the audience who may not be legally as nerdy as me and Ken, I'll just say that there's a statute of limitations to charge people with the crime of lying to Congress or perjury, and that's 5 years. The 5-year statute runs this month.
So what exactly is he accused of lying about, Ken?
Well, there was an exchange. There was a seminal hearing back in September of 2020 where congressional Republicans grilled him in the Senate about the Crossfire Hurricane investigation, the FBI Trump-Russia investigation. And remember, there were some issues around FBI mistakes, and the Republicans were accusing him of all sorts of misdeeds and of relying on that dossier. But in one exchange with Senator Ted Cruz, he was asked about a previous question that had been put to him back in 2017 by Senator Grassley about whether he had ever authorized the leak of information about the Trump administration or the Clinton administration and Hillary Clinton. And he said that he had not. He repeated his answer back in 2017. The Republicans were suggesting at the time, and we believe at least one theory of this is now, that was a lie. Of course, Comey insists it wasn't a lie. That Comey, in fact, had authorized somehow a leak of information. And what Ted Cruz cited during the hearing was a leak by then Deputy FBI Director Andrew McCabe to the Wall Street Journal about an FBI investigation into the Clinton Foundation. Now, what's important to know about that is there was a whole Inspector General report about Andrew McCabe's behavior and his leaks. And he was criticized in that report. But that report found that he was authorized on his own as the deputy director to talk to the media, and that he did so without explicit authorization from Comey. So on its face, that doesn't seem to support the idea that Comey lied. Of course, we don't know everything that the grand jury is contemplating. And in fact, I should say, Katie, this is a fluid situation. This could change.
Exactly.
We are being told this by three sources, that an indictment of Comey is expected in the coming days. They're also saying that this same office is expected to charge Tish James, the New York Attorney General, with mortgage fraud. And of course, Donald Trump, we all saw posted on Truth Social in recent days exhorting his Attorney General to charge both of those people as soon as possible. But again, this is, grand juries are secret. This is a fluid situation. It's also important to know, though, that the U.S. attorney, the Trump-appointed U.S. attorney in this office, Eric Siebert, was essentially forced out last week, in part because he was refusing to bring these cases. We're told that he was
said he didn't have enough evidence
to prosecuting both James and Comey on these grounds, and he's out now. And the new U.S. attorney is a former Donald Trump defense lawyer who's never prosecuted a case. So that's the state of affairs.
What is her legal expertise? Or her legal arena?
She's a lawyer. She was a lawyer in the White House for a while. She represented Donald Trump in the Mar-a-Lago investigation.
What?
She's not a prosecutor.
What?
Lindsay Halligan is her name. Carol, do we know that a grand jury is meeting?
I can't say with absolute certainty that they're meeting today, but we know some of the people that have been contacted for information, Katie. We know some of the people who've been asked questions about these theories that Comey allegedly lied to Congress. As Ken described, there is some flimsiness and some factual challenge to some of the theories that we've heard for the ways to charge Comey with a crime, because all of the available documentary evidence, much of which I've read forward and backward, makes clear that Comey did not authorize the leak that Ted Cruz asked him about, and makes clear that actually he was surprised that this information was shared with the news media.
Chris, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so, could they secure an indictment? Yes, the grand jury is a prosecutor's tool.
I want an invoice produced of all of these prosecutions and how much it cost the American people.
So is this just political theater? Indicting Director Comey.
How much you want to bet he is Abby Lowell?
But did he actually knowingly provide material false information to Congress? Very hard thing to prove, especially when there's information that has already been established that's exculpatory through an OIG investigation.
What would you say about the desire to go after Comey? I mean, we had a couple months ago when he was on a beach, he posted an image of 8647 in seashells, and the administration took that to be a
threat.
Death threat against the president.
Which it's not, and it also dovetails into the recent discussions about hate speech and the standard for actual threats is very specific.
They followed him, right? But between a vacation and home, many hours on the road.
Secret Service brought him in. But think about this. The same people from the Secret Service, from the Protective Intelligence Division, who stopped the cyber issue yesterday at the UN General Assembly, were also distracted to go after things like this. which is not a true threat. The court has established what a true threat is. And Director Comey posting 86 in shells on the beach is not a true threat.
What about the Truth Social post where he says, Pam, you got to go after these people? I'm summarizing. Does that give, in talking to Joyce Vance, she said that might give any defendant a way out of this by saying this is political.
Wait, Mask says, my grandchild rang the bell at Johns Hopkins today for completing his 30 rounds of radiation and no tumors for the moment. Huge moment for our family. Still lots of chemo to go, but we're celebrating. That's so wonderful. Oh, your baby. Oh, I'm so, so, so happy to hear that, and I wish for the very best going forward. Oh my gosh, that is a huge moment. Wow. Thank you for sharing that. Oh my gosh. That's really nice of you to come in and tell us what's been going on. Oh, my heart is really... I just got chills. Oh, sending that baby tons of love. Tons of love and good healing vibes, like strong, strong, strong energy. Yeah. Oh. There is good news in the world. There is good news in the world, too. Thanks for sharing that. That means a lot. Thank you. An old friend of the lounge from way, way, way back when. Gosh. Definitely part of the original lounge family. Room 206, really, yeah. Anyway, love you. Love you.
Retribution. It's something that you're not allowed to do. You're not allowed to politically target people for prosecution.
It's certainly, the optic of it is terrible. People will perceive this as political retribution, even if it was a legitimate case, which it doesn't appear.
But can't a case get thrown out for under that reasoning?
Of course it could. And if he does get indicted and it moves forward, this case could get dismissed at any step along the way, long before it actually goes to trial.
Yeah, we have to see what the evidence might be presented in an indictment. Let's talk again about what Donald Trump posted on Truth Social, wanting his U.S. attorney and his attorney general to go after perceived political enemies like James Comey, like Adam Schiff, like Letitia James. Ashley, help us understand how much, and I'm sorry to use this again, the teeth behind this. Does he really want these people to be thrown in jail?
Yes, Donald, I will say, let's put it broadly, not speaking exactly to Trump's views on Comey in jail per se, but Donald Trump was furious with Comey going back to the campaign, his first campaign in 2015. He fired Comey during his first term in a way that set off a really chaotic spiral for which he blames Comey. This is someone who has long been on his radar. He has long wanted to punish with whatever mechanisms and teeth possible. I think of that 86-47 in Seychelles. As a former waitress, I know 86 to be a food term, right? Like, we're out of this. 86 hamburgers, we're no longer serving hamburgers. And so, again, the idea that the Secret Service would show up for that comment for a former FBI director shows that Donald Trump is, at the very least, very serious about making Comey's life very miserable. At one point, Comey ended up getting targeted by the IRS for one of these sort of tax audits that the odds of any citizen having to undergo are incredibly slim. I think it's that post you just showed is not just Donald Trump saying the quiet part out loud, but in his view, it's not the quiet part. It's just what should be done. And he's very clearly instructing the people around him how he wants this handled, how he wants Comey treated.
He has often said that they go after me because they can't go after you, or they go after me to go after you. And he also says that I will be your retribution. So I guess it stands to reason that he believes that going after, or could he believe that going after James Comey and the like, Ashley, is Donald Trump getting retribution for harms not committed on him, but on his voters, on his supporters?
What?
Well, he certainly promised revenge and retribution in this campaign. When voters went to the ballot box, that was very clear that that's part of what they were choosing if they chose Donald Trump, and he promised it on his political enemies like James Comey. I think it's hard to make the case, even for President Trump, that Comey somehow wronged his voters. But I will say that sense of martyring himself, there is still this broader sense that does appeal to Trump's voters of sort of broader grievance, right? That the deep state is after me, they're after you, you're getting a raw deal with institutions and governments, which a lot of his voters do feel. And that if they could do this to me, imagine if I wasn't standing in their way, what they could do to you. And that is an incredibly effective, powerful message for Donald Trump's base.
Whoops. Interesting. Anyway, I thought that was an interesting overview. And the statute of limitations, I mean, what a mess. What a fucking mess. And, all right, and just to kind of close this out a little bit, and then we'll just finish up that. This is from Teresa. Thank you, Teresa, for sending this. The Age of the Aggrieved. God, Grace Lisa. Oh, my God. And they just, the projection is absolutely motherfucking, I don't even think they realize they're doing it. I honestly don't think these folks realize how delusional they come off. Seriously. Anyway. All right. New. This is Anna Bauer. We love Anna. New. Lindsay Halligan, the new top prosecutor in the Eastern District of Virginia, has less than a week to secure an indictment against James Comey before a key statute of limitations runs out. Ben Wittes and I examine her charging options. Sorry. Spoiler alert, they all suck. Choose your own adventure. Wait, let's read this. Any way you play, you lose. Oh, well, there she is. Oh, well, she's not a blonde anymore. And that's no problem. I color my hair all the time. I'm not judging shit. Okay, the situation on Sunday pondered the removal of the acting U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia, Eric Siebert, over his lack of enthusiasm for indicting a certain set of the president's political foes. Well, actually, not over his lack of enthusiasm, for the fact that he didn't find evidence. Why can't any journalist say that? I'm kind of surprised. Maybe. Okay. Monday, Bloomberg News reported a White House aide and former Trump personal lawyer, Lindsay Halligan, was sworn in as interim U.S. Attorney. As this column discussed on Sunday, the reason for the switch was that earlier occupant of the office was apparently unwilling to move forward with cases against New York Attorney General Letitia James and former FBI Director James Comey. Oh, that's the first time I've heard that both cases were where he decided he didn't have enough evidence. You know what I mean? I thought it was only Letitia James, but now to hear that both the Comey case and the James case were not sufficient evidence is interesting. One must imagine then that Halligan, unlike her predecessor, is willing to go forward with such charges. That, after all, is the only reason she is now in the role. Indeed, today MSNBC is reporting that Comey, quote, is expected to be indicted in the coming days in the Eastern District of Virginia. So let's try to play Halligan's hand out for a moment, a choose-your-own-adventure, Lindsay Halligan edition, if you will. You, the reader, play the role of Halligan. 9-year-old kings are dangerous. That's so true. It's the dawning of the age of nefarious. That's my song for it, but I could go. Yeah, I'm open. All right. Let's see. At least as regards to Comey, you don't have a lot of time. The key statute of limitations runs out in 6 days. After that, any case gets exponentially harder. So you have a brief window in which to decide whether or not you really want to pursue this. If you don't go forward off with your head, remember how you got this job after all. But you know that both cases are weak. How do you know this? Again, remember how you got this job. Your Trumpist U.S. Attorney predecessor was willing to lose his job rather than bring these. So you know you're playing with a bad hand, but you move forward anyway because you have no choice. Bloomberg News reports the U.S. Justice Department is pushing ahead with its investigation of New York Attorney General Letitia James over mortgage fraud allegations after President Donald Trump demanded the case move forward, according to people familiar with the matter. The case is still being pursued through the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of Virginia in an effort led by Senior Justice Department official Ed Martin. Ed Martin. Hi, Hail Mary Jane. I don't know. Who is Martha? I totally missed the Martha thing. I'm so sorry. Ed Martin, according to people who asked not to be named, speaking about an ongoing investigation, which apparently, okay, remember the days when the DOJ was like, we don't talk about investigations, we don't talk about pending indictments. Remember those days? I actually miss those days in a little way, partly, a tiny bit. One of Trump's aides, Lindsey Halligan, took over the office on Monday. You seem to be pushing forward with Comey, too. Disclosure, James Comey is a friend of one of the present authors and has written for Lawfare both as FBI director and his subsequent life as a private citizen. He contributed no information to this article. That means sometime over the next few days, you have to push at least 1 week case past a grand jury to keep this president happy. Let's assume that MSNBC is correct and you focus first on the Comey case rather than the James case, as it's the one with the ticking clock. James' case relates to a 2023 house purchase. While her defenses against any mortgage fraud allegation appear prohibitively strong, that case will be the same 2 weeks from now as it is today. But assuming you decided to move forward with the Comey case, you face an immediate problem. What should you charge him with? This isn't normally a problem prosecutors face, as they start with a crime, then figure out who done it, rather than starting with a person and only then deciding what the done. But Trump wants Comey charged and is convinced he's guilty of something, and it's your job right now to figure out what. Realistically, you've only got a few choices here, and they all suck. Nearly all of them involve charging Comey with some kind of false statement in connection with his September 30th, 2020 testimony before the Senate Judiciary Committee. That's the last testimony he gave, and it's almost exactly 5 years ago. This idea is appealing because it might just be possible to slap together a simple false statements case and get it in under the wire. Assuming, that is, you can convince a grand jury that there is probable cause that Comey knowingly testified falsely at that hearing as to any matter of material fact. And here the right-wing fever swamp brims with putative possibilities. Perhaps Comey testified falsely when, for example, he stood by his earlier testimony from May 2017 that he had never authorized leaks by anonymous sources of material about the Trump or Hillary Clinton investigations. This idea has been making the rounds. Back in August, independent reporter Catherine Herridge, former CBS, but persistent Russian sympathizer. That Catherine Herridge? Okay. That Catherine Herridge? Wait, what? Martha. Wait, did we decide who? Oh, Martha Stewart. Made an example. Oh, right. I forgot about that. Gosh. Back in August, independent reporter and Putin puppet Catherine Herridge declared on Twitter, now X, that with the newly declassified records via Kash Patel, oh my God, into media leaks and the role of third parties, Director Comey's 2017 testimony to the Senate Judiciary Committee about leaks appears problematic. Oh, that sounds so not journalistic. That sounds like a feeling, Catherine. In another post, she cites material related to an investigation called Tropic Vortex. Oh, very cool. Which dealt with a disclosure to the New York Times that took place sometime in October of 2016 and was investigated by, drumroll please, John, I can't indict a ham sandwich, Durham. I can't convict anybody. Yet, a quick look at the documents revealed that this material is most unlikely to be damaging for Comey given his testimony. For one thing, it was fully investigated during the first Trump administration, and the Justice Department declined to bring charges against anyone in connection with it, and that was fucking Freddie Bar Fazbear. Okay? You're welcome. Oh, thanks, JFK. You have a great day, too. Thank you for stopping in. That's so nice of you. I appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate that. Good. For another thing, the closing memo for the investigation, Wait, why did I read? Investigated to bring it. Oh, okay. The closing memo for the investigation is dated March 2020, meaning that any non-prosecution decisions were made no later than under Attorney General Bill Barr. Freddie Fazbear. Wait, do I have it? Wait, I have it. Hold on. Let me get Freddie Fazbear up here. Hold on. Damn it. Where is it? Boy, I hope I have it, because I'm going to be mad if I don't. I'm going to be really mad. Come on, please. Oh, here we go. Oh, here we go. Hold on. Wait for it. No, it's going to be, the payoff's going to be amazing. There he is. Billy Fazbear. I'm going to put him right over here. He can sit in the margins. I know so many familiar names. Anyway, there's Billy Fazbear. If you know, you know. If you know Five Nights at Freddy's, the video game, you know he looks like Freddy Fazbear. I'm sorry. He still looks like Arthur. He does. I should do the little fist. Okay. I'm sorry. Oh man, I'm really high. Okay. For another thing, it appears to have nothing whatsoever to do with either the Trump or Clinton investigations, which was the subject of Comey's testimony in 2017. The documents don't reveal much about the story in question, and folks in the right-wing press have assumed that the story in question was this one from October 31st, 2016, which dealt with the Russia investigation. That's a reasonable assumption, given that the material at one point refers to a March 2017 article that clearly is about the Russia investigation, but it is still an assumption. And it's likely very wrong. The documents reveal several... Oops, I moved Freddie and I didn't mean to. The documents reveal several facts about the underlying article. It appears sometime in October 2016. Freddie, get back up there. Okay. And it obviously somehow involved the FBI. Exactly one news story meets these criteria, according to the New York Times website search engine. It is headlined, Yahoo said to have aided U.S. email surveillance by adapting spam filter. Further evidence that this is the story at issue in this leak investigation came in Michael Sussman trial. Hello. When former FBI General Counsel James Baker testified that there had been a leak investigation conducted by Durham, of which he was the subject related to this issue. Reported Politico at the time, this is a quote, both the prosecution and defense also discussed with Baker that he'd been the focus of a separate investigation Durham conducted into an alleged leak that appears to have involved a 2016 New York Times report about broad-based email surveillance that Yahoo conducted at the demand of the U.S. government. Oh my God. Can we just all not be such fucking assholes? Is it possible? Who works for Senator Grassley is pals with Mike Flynn and others in Crossfire Hurricane. I mean, that's what this is all about, right? Duty calls. Okay, bye, Lee. Take care. Love you, girl. And I love that kitchen. Oh my God, that kitchen is so beautiful. He looks like the baby dinosaur in the old show. Not the mama. You're not the mama. He does look like that too. Okay, Baker provided scant details about the probe, but confirmed that Durham ran it and said it involved a telephone conversation he and a top FBI public affairs official had with a journalist, during which I made an authorized disclosure of information that I understood at the time to no longer be classified. Baker said he understood the disclosure to have been approved in advance by the FBI director and the director of national intelligence, but other witnesses gave conflicting and/or uncertain accounts. Well, that's a big and/or. No action was ultimately taken, but the probe wasn't formally closed until after Durham got a new assignment in 2019. I'm going to read that again. But the probe wasn't formally closed until after Durham got a new assignment in 2019 to look into the origins of FBI's Trump-Russia investigation. Disclosure. James Baker is a friend of one of the present authors and is a contributing editor at Lawfare. He contributed no information to this article. In other words, Harridge's premise here appears to be factually wrong. Even if Comey improperly authorized a classified disclosure to the New York Times in connection with that story, and we are certainly not saying that he did, and we note as well that the investigation of the matter recommended no charges against either Baker or anyone else, Comey likely wouldn't have been lying in this exchange with Senator Grassley more than 8 years ago. Grassley: Director Comey, have you ever been an anonymous source in news reports about matters relating to the Trump investigation or Clinton investigation? Comey: Never. Grassley: Have you ever authorized someone else at the FBI to be an anonymous source in news reports about the Trump investigation or the Clinton investigation? Comey: No. Nor would he have been lying 5 years less 6 days ago when he had this exchange before the Senate Judiciary Committee with Senator Ted Cruz about his earlier testimony. Comey: I stand by the testimony you summarized that I gave in May of 2017. Cruz: So your testimony is you've never authorized anyone to leak, and former Deputy Andrew McCabe, if he says contrary, is not telling the truth. Is that correct? Comey: Again, I'm not going to characterize Andy's testimony, but mine is the same today. Cruz's specific allusion to McCabe presents another possibility, but it's another lemon. The McCabe matter relates to an October 30th, 2016 article published in the Wall Street Journal, which cited an anonymous source confirming the existence of an FBI investigation into the Clinton Foundation, a probe that prior to the article's publication, the FBI had refused to confirm. The article also detailed internal disputes between FBI and Justice Department officials over how to proceed the investigation. In response to the Wall Street Journal story, the Justice Department's Office of Inspector General opened an internal probe to determine whether the article contained unauthorized disclosures and, if so, who was responsible. The inquiry ultimately focused on potential misconduct by McCabe, the then FBI Deputy Director. In a report made public in 2018, the Inspector General found that McCabe inappropriately authorized aides to disclose sensitive information about the Clinton probe to the Wall Street Journal, and that he demonstrated a lack of candor when questioned about it on multiple occasions by FBI officials and investigators. As the Inspector General's report details, Comey and McCabe's accounts of the leaking episode contradicted one another. In his telling, Comey denied authorizing the leak and claimed that he was ignorant of McCabe's own plan to authorize the disclosure. Comey said that his first conversation with McCabe about the leak occurred after the article's publication on October 31st, 2016. Ooh, spooky ooky. During that meeting, according to Comey, McCabe definitely did not tell me that he authorized the disclosure. That's interesting wording. Yeah, have a good one, Lee. Yes, there are pictures in the Discord of the beautiful terrazzo floor. Comey said McCabe gave him the opposite impression. I don't remember exactly how, but I remember some form or fashion, and it could have been like, can you believe this crap? How does stuff like this get out kind of thing? But I took whatever communication we had that he wasn't involved in it. By contrast, McCabe said that he told Comey during the October 31st meeting that he had authorized the leak. According to McCabe, Comey did not react negatively, just kind of accepted it. McCabe also claimed that Comey thought it was a good idea that they presented this information to the media. It's obvious that McCabe and Comey offered different recollections of events surrounding the leak episode, but it's equally obvious that those divergent recollections will not support a prosecution. Yeah, exactly. Oh, old lady. Okay. Wow, this is so interesting. This is the kind of stuff I nerd out about. This is like my soap operas. But it's not a soap opera because it's really happening to us, which is really unfortunate. Indeed, as a criminal case against either man, this case has deep problems. For one thing, there is no evidence that Comey was lying about these interactions. Though his account and McCabe's are not consistent, it is not at all clear that Comey's memory is the false one, much less that any errors in his account were intentional. The Inspector General found that it was McCabe whose answers lacked candor. Indeed, the report found that the overwhelming weight of that evidence supported Comey's version of the conversation. Among other reasons supporting Comey's side of the story, the Inspector General noted that McCabe's claim that he told Comey about the disclosure on October 31st is inconsistent with his statements during earlier interviews in which he said he had not authorized the disclosure and did not know who did. Oops. Oh, McCabe. The Justice Department quite disgracefully tried to bring a criminal case against McCabe for his statements in the matter. A grand jury in 2019 refused to return an indictment on the subject. It would be quite rich, having sought and failed to charge one party to a memory dispute, to turn around and try and charge the other. Yeah. The case has another problem. McCabe's own statement to the Inspector General acknowledges that he did not discuss the disclosure with Comey in advance of the article's publication. As the report summarizes, McCabe told us that he did not recall telling Comey prior to the publication of the October 30th article that he intended to authorize or had authorized special counsel and ADOPA, to recount his August 12th call with PADAG to the Wall Street Journal, though he said it was possible that he did. In other words, neither McCabe nor Comey suggest that Comey knew about the authorized leak prior to the article's publication, yet that is what Cruz's question to Comey in 2020 was about. At best, McCabe's account of the October 31st meeting suggests that Comey acquiesced to the disclosure after the fact, but he never authorized it, even under the least generous version of the facts. So that case is also a dud. Then there's the Dan Richman option. Richman, a law professor and close friend of Comey's, that's right, did some media outreach work on Comey's behalf, as well as advising him on encryption and other matters. Most of these documents were in boxes by the... Oh, really? Wow. That's interesting. He famously was the person who disclosed the contents of Comey's memo about the loyalty oath dinner with Trump to the New York Times, which Comey testified about. And his role as an informal, non-governmental spokesman for Comey came up at some length in a separate leak investigation known as Arctic Haze. Oh my God. Documents about which the FBI had also dumped in Grassley's lap and thus made public in the right-wing press. Wow, Grassley's really useful idiot, huh? Disclosure. These people have a lot of friends. Daniel Richman is a friend of one of the present authors and a contributor to Lawfare. He contributed no information to this article. One reason to think that the current case focuses on the Richman matters is that Richman has actually had a recent interview with prosecutors. Reports the New York Times, quote, prosecutors from Mr. Siebert's office subpoenaed Daniel C. Richman, a Columbia law professor and close friend and advisor to Mr. Comey, in connection with an investigation into whether the former director had lied about whether he authorized Mr. Richman to leak information to the news media, according to people familiar with the situation. Documents released by the FBI in August showed that investigators had examined possible disclosures of classified information to the New York Times. Mr. Richman's statements to prosecutors were not helpful in their efforts to build a case against Mr. Comey, according to two people familiar with the matter. Everything is a leak. It's easy to see, looking at the Arctic Haze documents, why a conversation with him would not have been helpful in building a case against Comey. Between redactions, the declassified documents contain such sentences as, quote, although Richman later told the interviewing agents Comey never asked him to talk to the media, end quote, quote, Richman claimed Comey never asked him to talk to the media, end quote, quote, the investigation has not yielded sufficient evidence to criminally charge any person, including Comey or Richman, with making false statements or with the substantive offenses under investigation, and, quote, the investigative efforts have failed to identify the source or sources of the unauthorized public disclosure. I mean, hello. Oh, Carla lurking in the comments a little, working 6 to 3 PST, can't listen. Before you congratulate me on the job the second day, my boss said I'm not a racist, but and went off about homeless encampments. Carla, just steal your soul. Just get it, pull that soul in. Take many, many deep breaths. Many deep breaths. Lord, if you're out there, can you please lift the burden on just a collective, lift the collective burden, please. We're tired. We're all tired. Arctic haze, that's right. And critically for Comey's testimony, it never found that Comey had helped or had asked him or authorized him to be a source for the story, much less to do so anonymously. Richmond was often quoted by name in stories about the FBI and Comey. This is a loser, too. There's another possibility, which is to charge Comey with a false statement. You know that Lindsay Halligan's reading this, okay? You know that, right? Somebody must have sent this and clipped it and sent it to Lindsay, right? I mean, for real. That's something, right? Yeah, that's right, Carla. It's a stepping stone. We gotta launch our music / comedy tour. Just kidding. Maybe someday. It could happen. All right. There's another possibility, which is to charge Comey with a false statement, not about supposed leaks, but about the conduct of the investigation itself. This idea appears to be what CIA Director John Ratcliffe's mind when he made the criminal referral that started the investigation of Comey. I wouldn't have expected that either. People are too easy to disappoint, aren't they? I mean, quick to disappoint, I should say. Quick to disappoint us. Not easy, but never mind. Let's see. CIA John Ratcliffe's mind when he made the criminal referral that started the investigation into Comey back in July. He said on Fox News, quote, John Brennan testified to John Durham in August of 2020. He also testified to the House Oversight Committee in 2022. Hillary Clinton testified before John Durham under oath in 2022. James Comey testified before the Senate committee in September 2020. All of that's within the last 5 years, and much of that testimony is frankly completely inconsistent with what our underlying intelligence that is about to be declassified in the Durham Annex, what that reflects. When did he say this? Back in July of this year. Oh my God. This appears to be a reference to Comey's September 2020 testimonies that he didn't recall receiving a referral later that later became the subject of the so-called Durham Annex. Here is the relevant exchange with Senator Lindsey Graham. Quote, Senator Graham, do you recall getting an inquiry from the intelligence community in September 2016 about a concern that the Clinton campaign was going to create a scandal regarding Trump and Russia? Comey, I do not. Graham, you don't remember getting an investigatory lead from the CIA? Hang on a second. Let me find my document here. September the 7th, 2016, the U.S. intelligence officials forwarded an investigative referral to FBI Director James Comey and Assistant Director of Counterintelligence Peter Strzok regarding U.S. presidential candidate Hillary Clinton's approval of a plan concerning U.S. presidential candidate Donald Trump and Russian hackers hampering U.S. elections as a means of distracting the public from her use of a private email server. You don't remember getting that or being talked? That doesn't ring any bells with me. Graham, okay, well, that's a pretty stunning thing. It didn't ring a bell, but it did come to you. The Durham Appendix, released recently by Senator Grassley, describes the relevant incident in detail, but given its description, it's perfectly understandable why Comey might have been confused by Graham's account of the matter. Graham made it sound like there was a sudden referral of this matter to the FBI in September of 2016. In fact, as the Durham material details, the FBI had been studying this matter for some months. Officials had briefed senior Justice Department officials on it months earlier. The reaction by then Attorney General Loretta Lynch had so alarmed FBI officials that it had actually played a role in Comey's decision in July 2016 to announce the end of the Hillary Clinton email investigation himself and without Justice Department involvement. Comey had testified about this matter before, as Durham summarizes. Quote, Director Comey subsequently testified before Congress that the sensitive intelligence was among the reasons he decided to announce the conclusion of the FBI's conclusion of the investigation of Clinton's private email server in July 2016 without the participation or awareness of the Attorney General or the department. The matter even shows up in Comey's book, which had been published in 2018, 2 years before the 2020 testimony. The details were still classified then, but here's how he described the matter. Quote, in early 2016, there was a development that threatened to challenge that effort significantly, a development still unknown to the American public to this day. At that time, we were alerted to some materials that had come into the possession of the United States government. They came from a classified source. The source and content of that material remains classified as I write this. Had it become public, the unverified material would undoubtedly have been used by political opponents to cast serious doubt on the Attorney General's independence in connection with the Clinton investigation. Was that the plane meeting on the tarmac thing? Oh, that Ratcliffe. Okay, good. She is 24/7. Yeah. Wait a minute. What are you saying? Did you say something about potential who works for Grassley and is pals with Mike Flynn? And I heard Mike Flynn's name associated with what was it? The CIA? No, what was his name associated with? Some intelligence officer. I don't know. I can't remember right now. Okay, I'm just so deep. I'm fascinated by this, and we're going to get to everything, so don't worry. In other words, Graham asked Comey about a document that showed up on a particular day. Oh, wait. Sorry, this is very important. Oh, and one other thing. The material in question was likely fraudulent, as the FBI had determined long before September 2016. In other words, Graham asked Comey about a document that showed up on a particular day concerning a matter Comey had been dealing with for months before that document landed on his desk. The matter in general is one that Comey had testified about, written about in public, and was sufficiently on his mind as to affect major decisions he made. And Graham was asking about the material as though it were new and genuine, rather than disinformation that the FBI had, in fact, run down carefully. Comey had exactly zero reason to lie about this and seems pretty clearly and understandably to have been confused by the question. He also said no more than that he didn't recall a specific intelligence referral on the matter he had already been aware of and been dealing with for months. Why would he? And how on earth are you going to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that he understood what Graham was talking about and remembered the specific referral? There's a final possibility, which is to blow through the statute of limitations and not try to make a false statements case based on the September 2020 testimony. The alternative floated recently by Ratcliffe and White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller, Walmart Nosferatu. Yes, they're doing this analysis based on norms. I think they can make shit up and charge him with something they can't predict. Remember, Tulsi has been dropping lies. Yeah, absolutely. No, and I'm not convinced they're not going to manufacture evidence. I'm sorry. I don't trust any of these folks not to. The self-preservation is really on the wall. You know, like they're panicking. So yeah, I don't put anything past these assholes. Blow through the statute of limitations and try to make false statements case about the September 2020. The alternative floated by Ratcliffe and White House, blah, 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 is a more esoteric case based on an alleged conspiracy that began during the 2016 campaign and ended, well, never. As Ratcliffe put it, it's a conspiracy. The statute of limitations does not start to run until the last act in furtherance of that conspiracy. And part of why this is so important is the people behind this are still furthering the conspiracy. They are refusing to admit or acknowledge what they did in 2016, and what they did in 2020 was wrong. Miller was blunter about it. Quote, "It is an ongoing and continuing conspiracy. It continued through the entirety of President Trump's first term. It continued through the entirety of President Biden's term in office. And it continues to this day. There are still deep state coup plotters who are trying to conceal and hide this information. All of this..." Wait a minute.
I'm sorry. I didn't have the right voice on. Okay, wait. I have something to say, and I'm Stephen Miller. So sit down. I'm a sexual matador. Just ask my wife. Elon's girlfriend. Wait. Anyway. It is... Or Peter Thiel's girlfriend? I don't remember. Anyway, one of them. It is an ongoing and continuing conspiracy. It continued throughout the entirety of President Trump's first term. It continued through the entirety of President Biden's term in office. And it continues to this day. There are still deep state coup plotters who are trying to conceal and, wait, what? And hide this information. All of this behavior, all of this conduct collectively means that the conspiracy hasn't ended, is ongoing. Comey, in particular, has throughout the years engaged in conduct and lies, public statements, and testimony in front of Congress, right? Like, you just stand up and say, like, you're not gonna lie. You ever do that? You ever do that? You ever do that under God? Yeah, it's serious. It's really serious. You can't just fuck around with that. Yeah, anyway. In front of Congress. False testimony whose sole purpose, only purpose, was to perpetuate and continue the conspiracy. The end.
All right, that was Stephen Miller, everybody. I just channeled him for a minute. This is the kind of thing that makes for good red meat television, but a lousy indictment. Note that neither Miller nor Ratcliffe bothers to identify the supposed underlying offense of this ongoing conspiracy. Miller at one point refers to a seditious conspiracy, but a seditious conspiracy requires a plot to overthrow the government or use force against it. He also suggests it's a conspiracy against the government, which could theoretically be a reference to a so-called Klein conspiracy to defraud the United States. Good luck with that. A conspiracy to defraud the United States requires, among other things, an agreement to commit an unlawful act to impede or obstruct a legitimate government function. Nowhere in the verbal salad of allegations people throw at Comey or Brennan or any of the others is there anything like an argument to do anything illegal, much less by way of obstructing governmental functions. In a courtroom, a conspiracy has to aim to commit a violation of federal law or articulate a coherent fraud against the United States. The Director of National Intelligence can declare that people committed a treasonous conspiracy in 2016 to subvert the will of the American people and enact what was essentially a years-long coup with the objective of trying to usurp the president from fulfilling his mandate bestowed upon him by the American people. But you, the prosecutor, can't, because this is legal gibberish. Without a predicate offense or a coherent theory of what the defendants were trying to deprive the United States of, to which it was lawfully entitled, it doesn't allege a crime. Alleging a conspiracy to commit a non-crime continues until this day is just another way of saying that people keep criticizing Trump. In short, whatever way you play Halligan's hand, you lose. You lose by bringing a conspiracy case. You lose by bringing a false statements case involving the conduct of the investigation. You lose by bringing a false statements case involving supposed leaks. You lose by not bringing any case. You lose by going after Letitia James. And you lose by going after James Comey. The only question is whether you lose at the hands of a grand jury, a federal judge, or a president who just finished praising you on social media. The situation continues tomorrow. Love and about Ben Witt. What bothers me because his mic is always terrible and his screen is always blurry. But other than that, I like him because he's really, really smart. Usurp the presidency. You're trying to syrup the presidency. That's right. I said it. Okay, wait. We got stuff. Don't leave me because we got a lot of stuff here. Hold on. Wow. Let's go ahead. Let's see. I think that's all the Comey stuff I had. Hold on. Let me make sure of that. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. We're going to talk about Argentina too. Don't you worry. Oh my God. I got so much stuff. Okay. We're going to do another. I would like to read what Gal shared with us. Well, first of all, there's a couple things. Let me just quickly go through these headlines because what I'll do is I'll put these clips I mean, I'll put this link, ouch, in the description of the video. But a couple of things actually came up because really, I think it was, this is David Korn's piece on the IG report on McCabe. Okay, so this is related to the Comey stuff, for which Comey might be indicted. And you'll see that there's no case here and that any prosecution would be the weaponization of the DOJ to serve Trump's revenge fantasy. I mean, no case at all, not even close. So there's information. I'll go ahead and link that one. Thank you, Blue Sky, for having saved posts. And then I just saw this below it. This just popped up. Ken Cheesebro. Yeah, that one. Ken Cheesebro. Right. Yeah. Ken Cheesebro lost his law license in D.C. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. We watched that. I think we watched that like surreptitiously, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe not. No, I think we snuck in. We snuck in that courtroom, I think. But yes, Ken Cheesebro. Wah, 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 wah. I guess he can't be Dump's lawyer anymore. Oh, maybe he could, actually. I have a picture of him that I made for the show that we did on Ken Cheesebro. Do you remember that? We did a whole show on Cheesebro. And I did a thumbnail where he's sitting at a bar. I put his face of a guy sitting at a bar in Puerto Rico because he said he wanted permission from the court to go to his home in Puerto Rico when he was in trouble for like fake electors and shit. Or Georgia. Can't remember which one. But anyway. Yeah, Ken Cheesebro is one of those people that needs to be in the Nuremberg trials of this generation. Yeah. 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 Him and Kurt Olson. That's the other one. Those two snakes have just like snuck. Well, actually, I guess Ken Cheesebro didn't really sneak because he just got disbarred. Remember that time? Yes. Oh my God. Yes, we were. So when during the John Eastman disbarment, which was absolutely the best TV of a century. Remember that time? Gal says I emailed John Eastman's judge and told her Steve Bannon was live streaming his proceedings, and then the judge proceeded, obviously not to name you, but to say I've been made aware. Just shortly thereafter, that was priceless. I'm gonna have to go back and clip that. I'm going to have to go back and clip that moment, Gal. I'm going to do that. I want to clip that moment from that show. That was amazing. Yeah. Wait, what? Let's work on not making statements against interest in public. What's that mean? What'd I say? Did I say something wrong? Anyway, yeah, so I have a great thumbnail of Ken Cheesebro. Yep. Anyways, that's that. But then this other thing in relation to the tragic shooting in Dallas. What did I say? Did I say something? Oh my God. Now I'm worried I said something. I'm not sure. Tell me if I said something. Let's see. Oh, you mean, I see what you're saying. Oh, you mean Ken Cheesebro? I don't know. I'm really high. I mean, not that that should be an excuse, but that's where we're at. Okay, hold on. I do want to pull up. I just want to make sure we're not missing anything. I don't want to miss a thing. Actually, I would be fine missing a few things. Well, we have Trump is going to meet with Erdogan, which is exciting. Not really. Nothing. Okay. All right. Let's go back to this. To better understand the violence of lone wolf actors, internet culture, and radicalization, learn about accelerationism. A range of ideas that propose social processes such as capitalist growth and tech changes should be drastically intensified to create radical social change. This is from Behind the internet's anti-democracy movement, White House chief strategist rather. This is from 2022. Steve Bannon is reportedly a reader of neo-reactionary political theory, a tour through the pro-authoritarian philosophy, gaining visibility on the right. I feel like this is something we've read too. I just want to see which article this is. I think we must have read this a long time ago. Oh, that's such a good article. I think I remember that. And then, this is the accelerationism. I think we read this one too. Oh my God. This one is. Okay, wait. I mean, I know, but that's not that we should probably revisit all of them. I just want to see what else. Influencing the right. Dark Enlightenment. Yeah. Oh, I read that. I remember we read that. Dark Enlightenment. I just want to see what else. Populismstudies.org. Oh, I haven't even seen that website. This is a great thread, gal. This is a fucking great thread. I think I want to do this as its own whole thing because that's a lot. That's really. That's a good thread. But it'd be nice to kind of collectively read them again. I'd like to do that. I want to get in a couple of odd things that I have, but then I'd like to do that. I want to do, hold on. Stop. This is going to be, I'm going to do a little palette cleanser. Oh, an accelerationism show. Yes. 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 Oh my God, I'm in. Oh my God, I'm in. I'm in. Okay. Ow. Everything's happening. Oh yeah, okay. I'm sorry. I hear what you're saying. Okay. Now I hear what you're saying. I'm sorry. Now I get it. I'm allegedly. Okay, here you go. This is just a minute. This is your feel good minute, okay? So hold on. This is going to be great. And it's Uruguay. Oh wait, I got to get Billy Carter out of there. Look at these babies.
La mayoría llegan desnutridos por falta de su alimento en el mar. Pasan muchos días sin comer, empiezan a debilitarse, incluso algunos llegan anémicos y empiezan a salir a la costa. También muchos empiezan a tener su pluma en mal estado, que eso lo que hace es que el frío del agua y mismo el agua le filtre y tengan la necesidad de salir, que no puedan seguir viaje. Y muchos también han llegado heridos por redes de pesca.
So when you think about AI.
Me and my AI shit. Okay. Oh, so there you go. The penguins got back in the ocean. Yeah, Lolo was the featured singer on one of Greg's karaoke, so he owes her a visit to the lounge. He doesn't. I'm so happy to sing anything, anywhere, anytime. I'm grateful to Greg for giving me the opportunity and LB. Really love it. Yeah, happy penguins. So somewhere in the world there's some happy penguins, if that helps. Okay. We'll just do the little bit. Thank you. I think Neil, was it you who dropped this in the chat? Here we go. Where am I? There I am. There I am. Yay. Democracy Dinosaur. That's USA. No, MSN. I'm on MSN.com. I don't know. That's cool. I think I downloaded that. It's this Disney notifies subscribers of price hikes on the same day of Jimmy Kimmel's return. Sorry, everybody. Oh, well. Womp womp. Okay, let me see what else I've got here. I had some. Oh, I want to bring this out first. I'm going to put all of these. Where'd it go? All right. This is something, Gal, you were sharing this, and I think you shared it on Blue Sky about the Belonging and Othering and Belonging Institute out of UC Berkeley. I think we read a little bit from something yesterday. Not you? Oh, okay. Somebody really lovely dropped it in Discord. Damn it. I can't remember. But anyway, grateful. Thank you. Appreciate it. Our celebrity dino. That's right. You knew me when. You knew me when. This is really a great website that I bookmarked as a good resource of research about racial divides, about statistics. Powerful new tool shows black-white disparities in nearly 80 areas. I mean, there's just some beautiful, beautiful data here. So I don't know. I'll make sure this is linked for you in the in the description video so that you can use it and poke around yourself. But it really seems like a really wonderful resource. So thank you, Gal, for bringing that to our attention as well. And let's see. Oh, you know what? Here we go. This is what I wanted to read. I hope it let me keep this. Barron's gave me one article, and I was hoping this is the one they'd let me. Okay, good. They let me keep it. All right. Switching gears a little bit, but it's all corruption. So, right. It's not really switching gears. There's Mrs. Beasley. Max, that's yes, I got those. I downloaded those. Thank you so much. I never heard of that institute until yesterday. It's going to be very helpful. I think so too. I think so too. Can't take credit. Oh, that's right. You're multitasking. What am I talking about? There's Mrs. Beasley. I don't want to be Fed chair. I don't want to be Fed chair. Don't make me. All right. The U.S., this is from Barron's. The U.S. is preparing an extraordinary financial intervention for Argentina intended not only to ensure the functioning of its markets, but to salvage the political standing of President Javier Milei, a conservative ally of the Trump administration. The Trump administration's plan is meant to serve as a bridge from Milei to the October 26th legislative elections, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said Wednesday in an interview on Mornings with Maria on Fox Business. Mornings with Maria. I wrote a new song. We are not going to let a disequilibrium. Disequilibrium? I don't even know if that's really a word. In the market cause a backup in his substantial economic reforms. Oh, we're going to talk about his substantial economic reforms in a minute. I don't think the market has lost confidence in him. The courts might have, but not the market. Am I right? Tip your waitress. Milei has pushed through market-friendly policy changes that have made him a darling of global conservatives. Those measures have driven inflation down from triple digits to 34% in August, among other economic successes. But he has declined to allow the currency to float freely in global markets. Yeah, unequilibrium. Disequilibrium doesn't sound right. Although I don't really know. Milei faces political upheaval following his party's poor showing in local elections this month. Capital has fled the country as investors judged that Milei wouldn't be able to maintain a commitment to prevent the Argentinian peso up against the dollar, it looks like almost a percentage point, from weakening substantially. The peso gained 1.4%. Gained 1.4% against the dollar on Wednesday morning, continuing a trend of strengthening since Besant began discussing a bailout on Monday. However, the currency remains 26% weaker than it was 6 months ago. The currency crisis has prompted fears of a wider economic collapse in Argentina. President Dump met with Milei on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly on Tuesday. Afterward, Trump gave Milei his complete and total endorsement for re-election as president. Trumpy said on social media. Besant cited that political relationship in an ex post on Wednesday that laid out plans for a rescue package. President Dump has given President Milei a rare endorsement of a foreign official, Besant wrote. Oh, Beasley, these words are going to come back to haunt you so very badly. I hope it was worth it. I hope it was worth it. I don't see how it can be, but I guess. The package includes a mix of financial measures designed to calm markets and ensure Argentina has sufficient reserves to make payments on its obligations. Argentina negotiated a $20 billion lending facility with the International Monetary Fund earlier this year, adding to tens of billions in outstanding loans. The U.S. is negotiating a $20 billion swap line that would allow Milei's government to trade pesos for dollars. The U.S. is also prepared to buy dollar-denominated bonds, Besant said, both directly from the Argentine government and on the secondary market. What? Okay. Are we taking over Argentina? Argentina has defaulted on its debt under previous governments. Its 2001 default was at the time the largest sovereign debt default in history. Hedge funds, including the one Besant ran before the Treasury, bought up distressed Argentine debt on the cheap. Isn't that a conflict of interest? Isn't that a conflict of interest? Oh, really? Maria Bartiromo? Oh, really? She used to, I mean, she wasn't a normal person, but she seemed more normal when I watched her on like Nightly Business Report or something, whatever it was. She seemed more normal, but not anymore. Saturation or super saturation. Super sat. Network state time. Well, see, this is what I'm wondering. Like, are we is that what's going on? Is that the bottom line? I mean, I feel like extortion and protection rackets are our new export. Yeah, no healthcare or SNAP benefits for USA Americans because eugenics. But sure, prop up Milei to the tune of $20 billion, which I think he's probably, well, anyway, we're gonna find out a little bit more. With the U.S. on the hook, the question now is whether Besant's intervention will be sufficient to ward off a new Argentine crisis. Treasury funds are likely sufficient to allow Milei to avoid making difficult choices ahead of the legislative elections. One such choice would be a rapid depreciation of the currency that would make buying goods abroad far more difficult for Argentines and could include a recession. The Treasury intervention doesn't appear to include requirements that the Argentine government take steps to fix the underlying balance, oh my God, in the economy that makes it difficult for the government to stockpile enough dollars to manage flows of trade and repay external creditors. Besant's approach effectively treats the Argentine shock as a problem of market confidence rather than a question of economic policy. Longtime emerging markets trader Mark Dow wrote on X, but if capital continues to flee after the October election, the U.S. kind of owns this and would have a hard time saying no to Argentina for a bigger bailout further down the road, Dow wrote. While the U.S. has participated in bailouts of countries through multilateral institutions such as the IMF, the last time it directed a unilateral bailout of a single country was during Mexico's peso crisis in 1994, said Karthik Sankaran, a former foreign exchange trader now with the Quincy Institute for Responsible Statecraft. The organization advocates for restraint in international affairs. There are significant differences between Mexico then and Argentina now. For one, the Mexican bailout came after that country's election, not before, said Sankaran. Mexico also had far more significant economic ties to the U.S. and was in the process of integrating further through the NAFTA trade agreement. The bailout of Mexico was in the context of a significantly deeper economic arrangement that structurally transformed the Mexican economy for the better, said Sankaran. I don't see any sign of this in Argentina. Besant indicated that the U.S. was prepared to help funnel more investment into the Argentine economy, despite the Trump administration's America First policy of pushing manufacturing dollars into the U.S. And does that mean no tariffs? Are they exempt from all tariffs? I don't get it. Are they going to be the 51st state? Is that what it is? The state of Argentina? Get ready, Messi fans. Oh boy, I wouldn't want to fuck with Messi fans. Are you kidding me right now? Oh my lord. I have also been in touch with numerous U.S. companies who intend to make substantial foreign direct investments in Argentina in multiple sectors in the event of a positive election outcome. So I'm going to dangle American investment, but only if you choose our guy. I think that's regime, right? Like that's like political interference, isn't it? Isn't this political interference? Yeah. Didn't a bunch of Nazis flee to Argentina? I don't know, Grace Lisa. I think so. Brazil? I just remember The Boys from Brazil. Isn't that about escaped Nazis? I can't. I just like it. I get it. I get it, everybody. I get it. Revolution now. I get it. All right. All right. All right. All right. You got me. You got me. Got me going. God, girl, you really got me going. Oh boy. The Treasury Department didn't respond for a request of clarification of anything it fucking does. All right, that's great. That was a good article. I appreciate that article. Let me now direct your attention. Oh, okay. I want to bring us in the Wayback Machine to a previous lounge. Probably from 2024, maybe 2023. No, maybe 2024. Where we talked about Hayden Davis. Yep. Hayden Davis. Yep. So let's talk about Millier and money. Okay, let's talk about Millier and money. This was dated. What was this piece? Oh my God. Tech bros don't know how to date their shit. Oh, okay. February 16th, 2025. This article is from February 2025. Okay. So let's talk about Millier and money. Yeah, Teresa, I'm going to tell you, I don't understand. I don't think, I said something to someone when I was protesting about USAID funding, and I'm going to tell you what has been engineered is that anytime you describe what has actually happened, it sounds insane. You know? Like literally, when you describe what's happened and you maybe list off 2 or 3 things, it all sounds insane. Like you're a fucking conspiracy theorist. And by the way, if you're still using a stewing-on or some fucked up term, go fuck yourself and figure your shit out. Because you don't even know what you don't know. You don't know anything about Jim or anything else. So go fuck yourselves. Don't fuck with people that do that either. Damn it, I'm sick of that shit. Fucking little bitches. Anyway, sorry, I just saw something yesterday that really fucking pissed me off. Yeah, so let's talk about Milei. This is from February of 2025. The president of Argentina, Javier Milei risks impeachment after endorsing a $107 million Libra rug pull. This is from the folks at Cointelegraph, which is all about crypto. The president of Argentina faces significant political pushback after a token he endorsed became a financial catastrophe for investors. There he is. It's the guy with the chainsaw, too, if you don't know. Rusmerica. Argentine President Javier Milei is facing calls for impeachment after endorsing a cryptocurrency project that collapsed in what analysts are calling a massive insider scam. The Solana native, Solana is a good name to remember. We probably need to do a little more of a dive into those things too, the different little platforms of crypto. The Solana native Libra token started its rally on February 14th, 2025, shortly after Milei posted about the project on X, formerly Twitter. His now deleted post included a website and a contract address for the token, which was a private project dedicated to encouraging the growth of the Argentine economy. So this is his official X account. This is vivalaliberdadproject.com, which is to purchase the token. Liberal Argentina grows. This private project will be dedicated to encouraging the growth of the Argentine economy by, this is important, funding small Argentine businesses and startups. The world wants to invest in Argentina. And then contact information for the coin. The Libra is the token name. Long live freedom. Damn it. I don't understand that. The Libra token briefly rose. This is kind of important. The Libra token briefly rose to a peak market capitalization of $4.56 billion at 10:30 p.m. UTC on February 14th before falling 94% to a 94% to $257 million market cap in just 11 hours since the token debuted for trading on decentralized exchanges. Dex Screener data shows. Here's the data. It just crash-a-rooney. Milei may now face the risk of impeachment after Argentina's fintech chamber acknowledged that the case may be a rug pull. Hopefully I want to get their definition, but a rug pull is basically when you hype up purchase of a coin and then you sell out right as it's launched to get the highest price, and you take the bottom out of it. You pull the rug out from under your own token by selling and dumping a bunch on the market at once, but getting out the high price. I know. Well, it's okay. We're not gonna let them take that name. All right, this scandal, which embarrasses us on an international scale, requires us to launch an impeachment request against the president, opposition lawmaker Leandro Santoro told Reuters, according to a February 16th report. After the token's collapse on February 15th, Milei issued a statement on X noting that he was not aware of the details of the project when he endorsed it and that he has no connection whatsoever with the private enterprise that launched the token. And this is the translation. A few hours ago, I posted a tweet, as I have so many other times, supporting a supposed private enterprise with which I obviously have no connection with whatsoever. I was not aware of the details of the project, and after having become aware of it, I decided not to continue spreading the word. That is why I deleted the tweet. To the filthy rats of the political caste who want to take advantage of this situation to do harm, I want to say that every day they confirm how vile politicians are, and they increase our conviction to kick them in the ass. VLLC. Millier also added that his political opponents will look to take advantage of the situation, adding to the... Oh, yeah, that... Millier has requested the Anti-Corruption Office to investigate all government members, including the president himself, for potential misconduct, according to a February 16th X statement issued by Argentina's presidential office, Oficina del Presidente. The statement also revealed that Millier held a meeting with KIP protocol representatives on October 19th in Argentina, where the company informed him about the Libra blockchain project and its aims to finance private ventures in the country. And forgive me, but it doesn't give me the translation. I'm sorry. Millier also met with mysterious crypto entrepreneur Hayden Mark Davis at Casa Rosada on January 30th, who was presented to the president as an infrastructure partner for the project. Quote, all information gathered during the investigation will be handed over to the courts to determine whether any of the companies or individuals linked to the KIP protocol project committed a crime, the statement said. Despite Millier's initial endorsement, at least 8 insider wallets linked to the Libra team, this is it, linked to the Libra team, managed to cash out over $107 million worth of liquidity. This included $57.6 million of U.S. coin, 2049. Okay, but that's just the breakdown of the types of coin. Insider Wallet started cashing out on the token only 3 hours after it debuted for trading, causing its over 94% decline, according to data. Oh, as Trump is yapping? Okay. It's shared by Kobesi Letter. So Libra hits 4.5 billion market cap. Insiders cash out to a total of about 107 million, and that figure will become important as we go on. Let me see if I can find dump ass. Sorry, I do listen to his words because I want to be able to compare and contrast.
And I thought this would be among the...
Sorry. Oh, this is Turkey. That's right. That's right. Thank you, Teresa. Wow. Did they start at the beginning? God.
We were still friends. That's always a good way to find out, test of friendship. But he's a highly respected man. He's respected very much in his country and all throughout Europe and throughout the world where they know him. He's built a tremendous military, powerful military, uses a lot of our equipment. And it's an honor to have him at the White House. We're going to have a lunch together. We're going to have a discussion, big discussion. We do a lot of trade with Turkey.
We can have
We're
lunch.
going to continue. We're going to do some additional trade. They want to buy F-16s, F-35s, and some other things, and we're going to talk to them about that. And we're just going to have, I think, a very interesting couple of hours. We're going to get a lot done. But I have great respect for this man, and we've had a very good relationship for a long time. If you remember, he led Pastor Brunson. He freed Pastor Brunson. Pastor Brunson was
Thank you
put
for
in
the
jail
archive,
for 35
Gal.
years before I got there. This was a group that should have stopped it, and the president, after I called him, released him, which was a great thing for our Christian community, our evangelical community. The evangelicals really wanted that. It was very important to him, so I always remembered that. But he released him from 35 years in prison. And Pastor Brunson now is healthy, happy, and well. And we're very happy about that. But it's a great honor to have the president of Turkey with us. And how are you?
Fine.
Say a few words.
And you?
Great guy.
Öncelikle bu ziyaretimizi Birleşmiş Milletler Genel Kurulu'yla iç içe olan bir dönemde gerçekleştirdiğimizden dolayı arkadaşlarımla beraber
You can
çok
hear
mutluyuz.
breathing.
Gerek Sayın Trump'ın birinci döneminde gerekse ikinci dönemde Türkiye-Amerika ilişkilerinde farklı bir süreci yaşıyoruz. Kendilerinin de az önce ifade ettiği gibi gerek F-35 konusu, gerek F-16 konusu, gerekse Halk Bankası'yla ilgili aramızdaki ilişkiler konusunu bugün etraflıca görüşme fırsatı bulacağımıza inanıyorum. Heybeliada okuluyla ilgili ise orada üzerimize ne düşerse biz onu zaten yapmaya hazırız. Dönünce de Sayın Bartolomeo'yla bu konuyu görüşme fırsatı bulacağım.
First, Mr. President, I am very pleased that this visit actually coincides with the 80th UNGA. So I am very pleased to be here with my colleagues and friends. And as we have said, during the first term of your presidency and during your second term, we are able to carry Turkey and U.S. relations to a much different level and process. And as you said, we have an opportunity here today to be able to discuss some of the issues regarding the F-35, the F-16, and also the Halkbank case, and we will have an opportunity to thoroughly discuss them. And based on what you have mentioned regarding the Heybeliada school, we are ready to do whatever we can that falls on our part, and I will, when I get back, try to discuss this issue with the esteemed Mr. Bartholomos to discuss how we can move forward on that.
Okay, very good. I would like to be able to do that. The Greek Orthodox Church was here, and they would really like to have some help. They need some help, and I said I'd mention it, and we appreciate it. So this is a tough man.
So I thought I'd put you on the spot.
A guy who's highly opinionated. Usually I don't like opinionated people, but I always like this one. But he's a tough one, and he does an amazing job in his country. And we've had tremendous relationships, both having to do with war.
She must have a hard time trying to translate this.
And I guess today we're talking about both. I'd like to have him stop.
I really like
buying any oil from
the
Russia
man's
while
head
Russia
in the middle.
continues this rampage against Ukraine.
It's like perfectly
they've lost
situated.
millions of lives already, and for what? You know, for what? It's disgraceful. And I said yesterday, let it keep going because their economy
Yeah, I've
is
seen them.
absolutely
I've seen them
terrible
outside
right
the
now.
embassies
And,
picking people.
I think it's a shame that they're doing that, killing a lot of people unnecessarily. 7,818 people were killed last week, mostly military people, their people, and Ukrainians. More Russians, actually, than Ukraine, a little bit more. But it's such a waste of human life, and so he ought to stop. Putin ought to stop. And with that, we'll get to a little bit of a discussion. We're going to make some great trade deals for both countries. We do a lot of business with Turkey. They build great products. They build beautiful, great products, really fantastic manufacturers. And we buy a lot from them, and they buy a lot from us.
Just perfectly situated in the middle of the.
You repeatedly called out Obama and Biden administrations for their stupid decisions. One example you gave was a refusal to sell Patriot missile defense systems to Turkey, which resulted in
That might be too much for every Biden.
F-35 program. Now, you are known to be a great deal maker in Turkey.
Yeah, she's a translator.
What can you do to undo the stupidity? Yes, CNN.
CNN? Well, because you sounded like a nice guy. But
what the hell?
CNN is fake news. I mean, but you sound like the real deal to me, so I'll answer the question. We're going to be discussing the Patriot system, which is the best system. We'll discuss that. We're going to discuss the F-35. We'll be discussing all of the things that you know about and that some of that you mentioned. And I think he'll be successful with buying the things he'd like to buy.
What concrete steps can you say?
Well, Bye, Mass says, and congratulations so
but
much.
I know he wants.
So happy for you and your family and your baby.
And we're talking
Love
about
that little
very
babe.
seriously. And the F-16, we're in great shape. Certain other things he needed, as you know, and I'm going to see to it that we get that to him. He needs certain things, and we need certain things. And we're going to come to a conclusion. You'll know by the end of the day. Go ahead, please.
Mr. President, I will walk factories. I will walk factories, Mr. President.
Sayın Cumhurbaşkanım, siz Başkan Trump'ın ne kadar barış için çabalar gösterdiğini daha önce de söylemiş bir Cumhurbaşkanısınız. Ve siz de bölgede birçok ülkeyle, birçok liderle görüşmeler, kontaklar kurabiliyorsunuz. Bu konuda birlikte nasıl çalışabilirsiniz gelecekte?
Buna inandığım için zaten bunları söylüyorum. Birlikte el ele bölgedeki bu sıkıntıları aşacağımıza da inanıyorum.
Trump gets bored really fast.
Mr. President.
Can we have the translation, please?
I haven't learned his language yet. What did he say?
The gentleman was asking, Mr. President, you have referred to President Trump's peace efforts, and you have also contact with many leaders in the region. And what do you think that you can do about this? And Mr. President has said that, yes, I believe in the peace efforts that President Trump is leading, and together we will be able to overcome the challenges in the region.
I think it's true. He's got tremendous influence in the region.
I think it's true. I think it's true.
Against sanctions against Turkey? Could be very soon. If we have a good meeting, almost immediately.
Mr. President, are you willing to impose tougher sanctions?
Whoa, what sanctions?
Removing tariffs on U.S. goods, and what impact it would be in U.S. production?
Where are you from?
Turkey.
I see. We have a lot of people from Turkey here. That's
You are
good.
a
Because I like the
restaurant
questions very much, actually. They're very nice questions. We'll see about tariffs. We're going to be talking about tariffs.
You already removed that.
Well, we're going to be talking about that.
Mr. President, are you willing to impose tougher sanctions on Russia, even if not all NATO countries stop purchasing Russian oil?
We're going to be seeing about that. The NATO countries were disappointing in that regard, but they've been very amazing in other ways. They did, as you know, they went from 2% to 5% GDP, and that's a big step, and it's paid. I mean, they have the money there. And we're selling a tremendous amount of military equipment to NATO. We're selling. We're not giving like Biden did. We're selling it to NATO, and it's a lot. They're buying a lot.
And apparently he's proud of that.
Ukraine,
even though we
for
were
other reasons too, but I assume they're giving most
giving
of it to
the money
Ukraine.
was going
But they're
to
buying
American
highly
contractors who
sophisticated
built the
weaponry,
weapons, who
and,
replaced
they're
our,
paying for
and
it
then we
full
sent the
price.
old.
And
That's how it worked before.
that's how we're involved. Biden gave $350 billion. Look, this war would have never started if I were president. If I were president, this war would never be happened. Would have never happened. Yeah.
Mr. President, I'd like to ask about Gaza. Are you on the same page, Mr. Erdogan, for Palestine, Israel?
Well, I don't know his stance. I can't tell you about that. I just say that we want to get Gaza over with. I had a great meeting with the leaders of that area, of that region, generally speaking, the Middle East.
Really?
We had a great meeting the other day at UNGA, as you know. And
Well, who was there?
I think we're close to getting some kind of a deal done. Yeah, we want to get the hostages back. I have to get the hostages back.
Who were you meeting with?
We're the ones that got the hostages, all of them.
Who were you meeting
It
with?
looks like there are 20 living hostages and probably 38 or so dead hostages. Pretty sad. And the parents of those dead souls, those dead, mostly men, boys, in many cases like literally boys, they want those bodies back so badly, as much as though they were alive. And so we had a very good meeting with the representatives of the most powerful countries in the Middle East, and I think we're going to be close to a deal.
Any solution, Mr. President?
Go ahead.
Mr. President, we've noticed that in the Ukrainian war and during the Israeli-Iran war, the airspace of the NATO countries is very fragile, and it needs to be stronger. And in that sense, Turkey being the second largest army in NATO, it needs to support its air force and air defense. How do you look at this issue in general as a NATO? Because it's the eastern flank of it.
We're in NATO, and you know, they're paying now 5% of GDP. Nobody thought that was possible, and they agreed to that 6 months ago when I was there. And the relationship is very good. The NATO countries, with us, is the strongest it's ever been. We used to complain that they're paying 2%, but they're not paying. The United States was paying almost everything. And now they're paying 5%, and they paid. And that's trillions of dollars. You know, we're talking about trillions of dollars. And they're spending that, giving that money to us, and we are giving them great defensive, you know, the Patriots and all of the different javelins, all the different missile systems and everything else that they want. But it's, you know, it's trillions of dollars. So we appreciate that they did that. So they went from 2% to 5% of GDP, and that was something that
That's an increase
nobody
in
even
their.
would bring
That's
up.
What he's talking about isn't, it's money that they allocate in their budget towards their defense, towards their NATO
all it did is make things worse.
forces.
So we'll see.
That's what he's talking about. Oh my God.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't think he knows how it works.
F-35. We're talking about the fighter jets for Turkey. Yes, we are.
Mr. President, are we going to see any steps going to be taken today about the issue, about the things that are going on in the Gaza, Palestine? Are we going to?
It could be today. Yeah, it could be today. We have a very strong dialogue going on with Saudi Arabia. With, I would say, you have 4 or 5 real leaders that are being good. As you know, I met with
Which ones?
Qatar,
Okay.
Saudi Arabia, UAE.
Okay.
We met with Jordan. The King of Jordan was there.
Okay.
We had a really great meeting. I think a lot was determined at that meeting. And I have
What
to meet
about
with
the
Israel.
Palestinian president?
And I have to do
Oh,
that also.
right.
They know what I want, and I think we can get that one done. I hope we can get it done. A lot of people are dying. But we want the hostages back. We don't want them back, 1 this week, 1 and 2 months from now, 3 later, and like the way it's been going. We got them all back. We got a lot of them back. We got the American Alexander. We got the American hostages back. But we have now 20 plus 38 bodies, dead bodies. And we want them all back. And we want them back at one time.
President Erdogan will help to release the hostages? Do I think what? Do you think President Erdogan will help to release the hostages?
I don't know if he'll help in that. I don't really think we have. I don't think it'll be necessary in this case. I think we're going to be in a pretty good position. There are a lot of people that want that done. I met with great leaders. Look, you saw the people that were there. And great leaders. Egypt was also represented. We met with the leaders of that part of the world, and they want to see if they can get something done.
His hair is
I'm
white.
gonna have to
I don't
tell
get
Israel, let's go. We want to get the hostages back. Everybody wants to see that war over with, by the way. Everybody. So we're going to see what happens.
Mr. President, how do you see a joint initiative with President Erdogan to bring the President of Russia, Putin, and President Zelensky to the negotiating table?
Well, I can tell you that President Erdogan is very respected by both of them. Everybody respects Erdogan. They really respect Erdogan. I do. And I think he could have a big influence if he wants to. Right now, he's very neutral. He likes being neutral. So do I like being neutral.
Neutral?
But
how are you
he's
neutral on an
if he got
invasion?
involved, the best thing he could do is not buy oil and gas from Russia. If he did that, that would be probably the best thing. He knows Putin like I know Putin. I thought Putin.
Erdogan has such a stone.
As you know, 7 wars, and it's probably more than that.
Everyone.
The real facts. But
his face is like stone.
And I thought this would be among the easier ones to settle. But I'm very disappointed in Putin. And he's been fighting hard. He's been fighting long, and they lost millions. They lost like 1 million soldiers. And you know, with all of the heavy bombardment over the last 2 weeks, they've gained almost no land. Think of that.
Oh, my God.
They've gained almost no land. And I'm not going to ever call anybody a paper tiger.
Yeah, so cream.
But Russia spent
Teresa.
millions and millions of dollars in bombs, missiles, ammunition, and lives. Their lives. And they've gained virtually no land. I think it's time to stop. I really do.
A few months ago, you met with Aliyev and Pashinyan. Can you follow up on
where?
You met with Aliyev and Pashinyan, Azerbaijan President Aliyev and Pashinyan. Can you follow up on what you want to say?
Azerbaijan and what's that other one? Albania.
I like this guy. I like him. He's from CNN. Fake news, the worst fake news, but I like him. So it's CNN Turkey. I'll get Brian. Go.
Syria has been a major issue between the two countries for the past decades. And you said the future to Syria is in Erdogan's hands back in, I think, December and January. And the countries are in the process of integrating regional fractures into the main government. When do you want to see that happen?
Well, I think President Erdogan is the one responsible for Syria, for the successful fight in ridding Syria of its past leader.
He said Albania.
And I think this man is responsible. He doesn't take the responsibility, but it's actually a great achievement. They've been trying to do it for 2,000 years. I said, he does it. He did it. I mean, they're your surrogates. I think you should take the credit for it. I told him, take the credit. For 2,000 years, you've been trying to take over Syria. He took over Syria, and he doesn't want to take the credit. You know, all of those people are his surrogates. But the leader of Syria, the new leader, as you know, I took sanctions off in order to let them breathe because the sanctions were very strong.
They vote on that?
But I think we should have a major announcement today. He was responsible for that victory. It was a victory for Turkey because they've been fighting, as you know, for like 1,000 years. And it never went, you know, it was back and forth, but he's responsible for that. So he would have a lot to say with respect to Syria. But at his request, I took, and the request also of the King of Saudi Arabia, it's very interesting, and Qatar, they said if you could take the sanctions. We had very strong sanctions. They couldn't have lived with those sanctions, and I took them off to give them a chance to breathe. But the president was one of the people that was responsible for that. He asked me to do it.
Mr. President, furloughs are very typical when the government shuts down. Why is the administration directing federal layoffs of federal workers this time?
Well, this is all caused by the Democrats. They asked us to do something that's totally unreasonable. They never change. They want to give money away to illegally, people that entered our country illegally. They want to give them massive federal money. And we don't want to do that because it means everyone's going to just keep pouring back. Right now we have absolutely perfect borders like you haven't seen in many years. Even better than I had great borders during my 4 years, but these borders are stone cold closed. You can only come into our country legally now. But the Democrats want to give it all away. They want to open up the borders. Take a look at that. Big thing. They want to open borders again. After what we're going through now, getting rid of prisoners, getting rid of all of these people dropped out from mental institutions, drug dealers, drug addicts, everything. They're putting everybody into our country. It's all ended now. But this is what Schumer wants. This is what the Democrats want. They want to have, and they want to take our money. We're doing well because of tariffs. We're doing unbelievable. We're making more money than we ever have made. And by the way, we're going to take some of that tariff money that we made, just to get off the subject for a second. We're going to take some of that tariff money that we made. We're going to give it to our farmers, who are, for a little while, going to be hurt until it kicks in. The tariffs kick into their benefit. So we're going to make sure that our farmers are in great shape because we're taking in a lot of money. We're finding, the other day, it was very interesting, they found $31 billion. They said, sir, we found 31. I said, you mean positively, right? They said, yeah, 31 million more than we knew. And they said, we don't know where it came from. I said, check the tariff shelf. They came back the following morning. They said, you're right, sir, it came from the tariffs.
Oh my!
We've never seen anything like this. So what we're going
that
to
didn't
be
happen.
doing,
Okay, just so you know, that didn't happen. None of that happened.
All of the tariff
None of that. Lee knows. Lee is our tariff representative. Tariffs are never going to benefit farmers, and that didn't happen.
The farmers are going to be making a fortune. But it's a process of, it has to kick in. All right, maybe one more.
It has to kick in.
There was another
It has to kick in.
an ICE facility in Texas yesterday. Detainees were killed. The FBI director posted on social media bullets that were engraved with the message anti-ICE. He just posted another thing on social media saying they recovered a handwritten note from the subject that read, hopefully this will give ICE agents real terror to think, is there a sniper with AP rounds on that roof? Who do you hold responsible for the uptick in left-wing violence in the country?
Radical left rhetoric. The radical left is causing the problem. They're out of control. They're saying things, and they're really dumb people. I mean, I look at Crockett. I look at some of these people. They're Very low IQ people, actually. But the radical left is causing this problem. Not the right, the radical left. And it's going to get worse, and ultimately it's going to go back on them. I mean, bad things happen when they play these games. And I'll give you a little clue. The right is a lot tougher than the left. But the right's not doing this. They're not doing it. And they better not get them energized, because it won't be good for the left. And I don't want to see that happen either. I'm the president of all the people. But the radical left is causing this. Radical left Democrats are causing this problem. And it gets worse. It gets worse. And it'll be a point where other people won't take it anymore, and that will not be good for the radical left. And we don't want that. Okay, thank you.
Brian.
Seems like an indictment on James
Tintin.
Comey is imminent. Would this be the first step in accountability for pushing the hoax of Russia, along with Barack Obama involved as well?
Well, I can't tell you what's going to happen because I don't know. You have very professional people headed up by the Attorney General, Todd Blanche, and
there's a
Lindsay
article
Allegan, who's
on
very
Syria
smart, good lawyer,
sanctions.
very good lawyer. They're going to make a determination. I'm not making that determination. I think I'd be allowed to get involved if it was.
Oh my God!
I don't really choose to do so. I can only say that Comey's a bad person. He's a sick person. I think he's a sick guy, actually.
Bad
He did terrible things at the FBI.
Did terrible things at the FBI.
I don't know. I have no idea what's going to happen. Thank you very much, everybody.
He does not look very happy. He doesn't look very happy. Womp womp. Womp 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 womp. Yeah, exactly. Ask Rubio. He chaired the Senate Intel when it came to Russia. Wow. Oh my God. It's just so bad. Here, Lee, new Section 232 investigation to start on robotics and industrial machinery. Does that mean, Lee, they're investigating the legality of the Section 232 tariffs? Sorry, forgive me if I'm not good on that structure. And then, let's see. What was the other one? Oh, decision on pharma and semiconductor tariffs imminent. Oh, God. I don't think I want to hear it. I have an idea I know what it is, and I don't like it. I have a feeling prescription drugs are going to go up. And it makes me really sad. It's going to fuck a lot of people. Todd Blanche is not a good lawyer. That is true. That's a true statement. And that Chickapoo might be I think she probably, I just don't think she has the experience, right? I don't think she has the experience to actually proceed with such a complicated and frankly, it looks like empty indictment. I don't know what the grand jury is going to come back with. I mean, the grand jury hasn't even finished meeting, okay? This is so ridiculous that we know as much as we know about this investigation. It is so politically motivated. It's hilarious, almost, if it weren't true. Yeah, she has really no experience. She did the Mar-a-Lago. She was one of the assistants, maybe attorneys, like co-counsel or whatever. I don't know. On Mar-a-Lago. He told that tariff shelf story before. The tariff shelf. I found 31 million on my tariff shelf. What about my tariff shelf? Yeah. Oh, and I think Teresa is the beautiful, beautiful soul that, hi Val, that sent me the Millier stuff. So thank you. Was it the Barron's article? I think you sent me, right? You sent me the Barron's article. Because I really want to show you, again, just to kind of close the loop on Millier and this cryptocurrency boondoggle. This is also an article we read when we were looking into Millier and crypto. God dang it. I hate this thing. And this was from an MSN report, so, whatever. And Hayden Davis exposes Trump and Melania for crypto insider trading alongside other crimes. This literally got nowhere. This never got any traction. Never. A prosecutor can get a grand jury to indict a ham sandwich because the prosecutor has a lot of discretion and usually collaborates with the jury to draft a charge they'll back, per friend with a grand jury. Oh, that's fascinating. I did not know that. Yeah, thank you, Teresa. I really appreciate you bringing that up so that we could get back into this, because I think this is important, this whole Argentina bailout deal, because there's so much crime. I don't know what's happening with Hayden Davis. That hasn't been working for Pirro in D.C. Good. These inexperienced or dominant from above prosecutors don't show much collaborative flexibility. That's true. I mean, that's the thing. Grand juries are still made up of regular people, right? You can't handpick your grand jury, can you? You can't do that, right? You have to actually, like, select from a pool of jurors, right? I don't really know. Grand jury have been declining to indict. I mean, I'm curious about the Eric Siebert case where he reviewed the Letitia James mortgage fraud claims and literally couldn't find the evidence to bring forward. And he literally is a Trump appointee. Like, you can't make this shit up. Anyway. Typically a prosecutor would come back with a lesser charge, right? Or change the wording. Yep. So, sorry, just to finish up this Hayden Davis, or this whole Argentina blah blah. Hayden Davis exposes Trump. Okay, blah 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 blah. Okay, come on. Where? Oh my God, you guys are killing me. Wow, it just doesn't let me look at the whole story. Close this. I can't even see the up. I did not recall this being a problem last time. Okay, well, I'll just start. All right. Anyway, Hayden Davis exposes Trump and Melania. Trump's meme coin was rigged from day one. Hayden shared that before Trump's token launch, a small group of investors were granted exclusive pre-sale access at a valuation of $500 million. According to him, these buyers were let in before the contract address was made public, right? So they buy up before it's public, so they could purchase at rock bottom prices before the retail frenzy. They gave people special access to buy in before it launched, Hayden said. That's what I was told. When pressed on where this happened, he named Washington, D.C. as the location where the deal allegedly took place. Melania's token, Hayden admitted, followed the same playbook. He was directly involved in the launch of that coin and confirmed that his team sniped it, which means bought in before the public had a chance to do it, and then walked away. Followed the same playbook. He was directly involved in the launch and confirmed that his team sniped it. The goal, according to him, was to counteract external snipers, but in reality, it meant insiders once again took the best entry positions before the public. We weren't the big sniper, Hayden said. Keep in mind, this guy's a criminal. Okay. Yeah. No, exactly. I don't think the new, this is not grand jury nullification. There is no such thing as that. That's interesting. These appear to demand the felony for the headline, right, and not shift to a lesser charge. Yeah, exactly, right? Is that the way to communicate to potential grand jury members or grand jury members that have already been seated that you better get with the program? Isn't that jury tampering? Oh my God, wait a minute. Okay, wait a minute. Can I just say something? And I could be wrong. But if the grand jury is impaneled, isn't that tampering with the grand jury by doing public disclosures of... Wait, isn't it? Am I wrong? Am I wrong about that? It is prosecutorial malfeasance or incompetence. Well, yeah, I guess it. But it's not. It doesn't like taint the grand jury, right? I don't know. Interesting. That's so interesting. Ah. Okay. We weren't the sniper, the big sniper, Hayden said, excuse me. That's what we were trying to avoid. I was not speaking to your publishing info. Wait, what? It's all supposed to be secret. Well, yeah. But finishing that paragraph's. Oh, okay. But I was wondering, it made me think, like, can you corrupt a grand jury if you release information about the investigation? Does that make sense? I don't know. That's what we were trying to avoid. But on-chain data tells a different story. A wallet tied to his operation received 1.5 million worth of Melania's token from an address labeled Melania D Liquidity 2.0. The tokens were then dumped, crushing the price and leaving retail investors with massive losses. How sniping and insider deals keep the market rigged. Hayden's interview confirmed, and we watched Hayden's interview with CoffeeZilla. That's who you can corrupt any ensuing trial for sure. You're right. I just wondered if it was like a formal, oh, well, you can't use that grand jury because they've been spoiled, by the disclosure of information or something like that. I just didn't know that was something, that was a thing, like an official thing that would like undermine the whole thing and bring it down. Although it doesn't sound like it's going to go anywhere, which is really interesting. I wonder what the grand jury will come back with. I wonder if they'll try and hide that. I'm just so curious. Do grand jury people have to sign an NDA or anything, like they can't disclose it ever, or after everything is over, can they talk about their time in the grand jury? Or are they still under some kind of gag order? I wonder. I don't know. I could look it up. Don't worry. Okay. Hayden's interview confirmed what most crypto traders already suspected. Every major meme coin launch is manipulated from the beginning. The LARP coin, or Lard coin. Remember the Lard coin? LA Riot Dino? That's me. Don't buy it. Do not buy it. This is not any kind of endorsement or consideration for any kind of investment opportunity. Don't do it. Certainly not on my word. Would sanctions follow? If so, that's what I kind of wondered, if it was like that formal, or if it was just like, dang it, you shouldn't have said that. Okay, so every single meme coin launch. Oh wait, he described how bot-driven sniping ensures that insiders always have the best entry positions while regular buyers get in at inflated prices. Every single meme coin launch gets sniped, Hayden admitted. A handful of elite traders figure out how to extract liquidity before the public even has a chance. He also said that early contract leaks play a huge role in this system. Private groups pay for access to pre-launch addresses so they can front-run the market before the token even goes live. This is so bad. Hayden confirmed that it happens across the entire industry, from Solana-based launches to Binance Smart Chain projects, which are different platforms for, trading or selling coins or whatever. This is the conversation that goes on with everybody. He said, everybody that knows how these launches work, that's the conversation. Now that's coming from Hayden Davis, who definitely does have that conversation all the time. Hayden confirmed, the people with the most money, the most access, and the most control always win, Hayden told CoffeeZilla. They never lose. He acknowledged that meme coins are a zero-sum game where one trader's gain is another trader's loss. The crypto community reacts to his interview. The community's reaction to Hayden's interview has been hilarious. Zach XBT, the prominent on-chain detective, tweeted, "Does not sound like Hayden from Kelsier consulted a lawyer before doing this interview, which is kind of wild. Nonetheless, makes for hilarious content." CoffeeZilla himself said after the interview, meme coins are wealth redistribution tools to move money from the public to pre-sale, outsiders to insiders, and degens to developers. Don't waste your money, or don't waste your life making some KOL Dork Rich. There you go. I love CoffeeZilla. One response to CoffeeZilla's tweet took a direct jab at the term developer, saying, calling memes deployers developers, you're insulting everyone who actually knows a programming language in the world. Another user said the CoffeeZilla and Libra interview is just 1 hour and 11 minutes of the Libra dev admitting to like 13 international financial crimes, which can get you decades in jail. Is that what it is? Is it degens? Did I say it right? For some, the tone of the reactions is more sinister. One user bluntly said, this Hayden kid is absolutely fucked. At worst case, decades in prison are guaranteed. Not sure why he's doing this publicity tour. I pray for his safety. And this is the part of the coffee. This is just a minute of the CoffeeZilla interview. Oh, whoops. Skip ad. Oh, wait. Where's the sound? Oh.
People have linked you to, but I have to ask because, this is part of what my story is about. A lot of people have
We
linked
watched this
you
whole
to
interview.
the Melania launch. And that is a big question on everyone's mind, mine especially, which is, were you part of the Melania launch, and was that sniped as well?
I mean, look, I think that I told you like beforehand but before this started. I'm happy to share the truth, but you're asking a question that's it's just I'll answer, but it's factually going to put me into a lot of danger, which is fine. I'll answer. I was part of it. I think the team did want to snipe it because of how big the snipe was on Trump's. And we weren't we definitely weren't the big sniper. We were not that was what we were trying to avoid. And we didn't make any, there was no money made from the Melania team on any, we didn't take any liquidity out. Zero.
Okay. Wow.
So yeah, so that interview is very interesting. I'll link that total interview in the description as well, so you can see the full interview with CoffeeZilla, because it is quite even for those of us who aren't as well versed in some of the terminology, it's easy enough to follow the line. Hi Jane, yeah, I'm still alive. I'm still alive. I'm still alive. So anyway, that is the tale of right now. Why the Argentinian bailout is so very, very suspect, because just recently, Millier was under serious investigation for undermining the economy in his country, and this, not to mention this, scheme with the Libra coin and other things and other involvement. So that's definitely a story to watch and see what's up with that, I think. Let's see. Do 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 do. Wait, where's my wake and bake? That's right, my wake and bake. We watched Gimme Shelter last night as a different documentary night because of the protesting, and such a good documentary. Highly recommend Gimme Shelter. Really brings back some memories, and also just like it's very beautifully filmed, actually, and I think that's what's really cool. Wait, I just want to make sure I've got everything, everything. Jimmy. I'm trying to see. I don't see the picture. They're not downloading. That's so weird. Okay. Sorry. Sorry. Don't leave me. Let's see. I'll do a programming note while. What? I'll do a programming note. Let's see. Tomorrow we're not doing anything except, oh no, sorry. Tomorrow night is the lounge. Woo! Woo! Maybe they'll swoop in and make Wi-Fi Argentina's official currency. Oh, the WLF. Sorry, the World Liberty Foundation coin, the stable coin. Anyone talking about that Disney shit as more market manipulation? That would make a lot of sense. That would make a lot of sense, oomph. I'm just like, whatever. Yeah, trivia tomorrow. Right, today's Thursday, tomorrow's Friday. That's right. Lounge trivia tomorrow night. Remember, Friday night's trivia. Whoop, whoop. And then Saturday, a movie. Because I think what I'm going to do is figure out the protesting schedule, but I really want to do the movie on Saturday night. Because there's a Tesla diner protest on Sunday night, too, so I can go to that. But on Saturday night, I want to do our movie, and we have to figure out what our movie is going to be. So I'll put out some ideas in Discord. J-Ran says to wipe our debt out. I don't understand it, but it sounds crazy enough. Wait, what did you say, J-Rans? I saw a theory that to get us out of our debt, they'll convert the dollar to stablecoin and then drop the value of the coin. Oh my gosh. Making the debt not as valuable, right? Making our interest payments go down or eliminate altogether, which is another reason Stephen Moran, author of the Mar-a-Lago Accord. You all learned this in the lounge. I just want to fucking point it out again. Stephen Moran is now a federal governor. He's one of the federal governors. Yeah, it is actually a diner with a Tesla theme. Yeah, it actually is. It's like a drive-in diner, and it has a big like projection of a movie on some wall or something. I drove by it. It's not as big as they make it seem in some of the pictures, but I've driven by it. Wait, no rescheduling of last week's. Oh yeah. I'm sorry. You're right. So this Saturday we're doing. Thank you, Max. I just like am losing my mind. Saturday the movie, which is going to start at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, etc., is going to be Weapons, which is a new movie. And then what was the second one? Now I can't remember what I thought. I don't know if there's robot waitresses. I'll have to tell you when I protest there. I'll tell you when I protest. Yeah, so Weapons is the prime movie. And then the second movie, God damn it, what the fuck was that going to be? It's somewhere in my notes. I know that. The president of Argentina, Javier Milei, is related to Netanyahu. Really? They are both of Polish descent, and their original last name is the same. They're related? Like blood related? I don't know. Brontosaurus ribs? I don't know. Dun, 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 dun. Are the Jetsons there? I don't know. We'll find out, I guess. To wipe our debt out. That's so interesting. I can't remember. Robo dogs with drinks on their back. Interesting. Is there a restaurant in Dearborn called Ford Garage? Elmo ripped them off. Oh, probably. I mean, it just looks. It actually does kind of look like this building. Sorry, I think my nails are really dirty. Sorry, my nails are dirty, but it looks like this building. I don't think it has a robot outside of it, but we'll see. I'm sure it does have some robots. Hitler hot dogs, Nazi burgers, Gestapo fries. Get out of Los Angeles. What does it say? These burgers taste like fascism. Elon is a Nazi. This is a great art. What a beautiful piece of art. I'm going to frame that. Their last name is Milikowski. Netanyahu's father was from Poland. He moved to New York where he was raised. Oh, I do think I knew that he was raised in New York. I do think I heard that. Interesting. From an Australia sociologist or psychologist. Jane, what did you say? Right? You heard that thing. Yeah, no, I don't put anything. I don't put anything past them. So that is the story of Millier. Hold on, because I really did. I had a couple more. Let's see. We read that. We heard Maria Ressa's speech. Amazing. Okay. Do I have anything? I think I had something else. Hold on. Don't leave me. If you leave me now, take away the biggest part of me. Oh, wait, I've got this piece. I forgot I queued this up. Hold on. Hold on, everybody. This is about Argentina, too. All right. This I found. It is from 22 hours ago. First post. I'm sorry. I don't know what. We'll see. Oh, boy. Now I'm scared. Okay, I'm a little scared about this, but let's just see what its take is. You would buy a stable coin if it came with a nice
Let's
horse.
turn to Argentina now. In late 2023, they began a risky experiment. They elected an unconventional president to solve a crisis. His name? Javier Milei. Milei soon became the chainsaw president. His plan was to cut everything, cut jobs, cut subsidies, cut welfare funds. But 2 years later, is the experiment unraveling? Well, the markets are in turmoil. Look at the Argentine peso. Last month, it was trading at 1,300 against the dollar. This Monday, it rose to
This
almost
woman kind of cracks me up. I've seen her do other
Basically,
things.
the currency
Oh,
lost a lot of its
Muskie!
value.
Get a
And it's not
pre-roll.
good news
I
for any
love
country,
you.
especially not for a country that
good
is
luck at the
sinking in
doctor.
debt.
Thank you.
Simply
You're
put,
so
Argentina's
kind.
financial markets
That's
are
for
collapsing.
you as you run out to the doctor.
So what did President Milei do?
Thank you.
Well, he turned to Donald Trump. There is talk of Trump helping out Argentina. He met Milei in New York yesterday. He promised political and financial support to him. But a bailout? Well, Trump was non-committal.
She's done a fantastic job, and I'm doing something that I don't often do. I'm giving a full endorsement to him. We just endorsed him for president. Scott is working with their country so that they can get good debt and all of the things that you need to make Argentina great again.
Are you going to help bail out Argentina, Mr. President?
Well, we're going to help them. I don't think they need a bailout. He's done a fantastic job.
This raises a couple of questions. Why is Trump keen on helping Milei, and how can he help? Also, what happened to Argentina's economic recovery? Well, the recovery is not going to plan. Initially, Milei did score some wins, but more recently, he has suffered setbacks. His group lost badly in a midterm election. His sister is tied in a corruption scandal, and some of his spending cuts were reversed. The result? The markets lost
He was
trust
also
in
under
his ability.
investigation.
They felt
Why is that not
President
mentioned?
Milei would soon become a sitting duck, which is why the peso crashed. But the worst could be yet to come. Another midterm election is slated for October. If Milei loses that, the markets could crash further. Enter Donald Trump. Why is he helping Milei? Well, there are political and strategic reasons. Politically, Trump and Milei are aligned. They're both conservative right-wing leaders. Milei has close ties with Trump's MAGA camp. Trump even called Milei his favorite president. So naturally, he wants to help. And strategically, Argentina is key. It is one of the biggest countries in South America. It is also home to crucial rare earths. In recent years, China has made inroads into Argentina. But Javier Milei has tried to reduce Chinese influence. So it's in Trump's and America's interest to help him.
It's
the question is
extortion,
how. Trump's Treasury
protection
Secretary has listed out 4
racket.
methods. Number 1, the US government could buy Argentine bonds. Number 2, it could give direct loans to Argentina's central bank. Number 3, a $20 billion currency swap. And number 4, buying up Argentina's government debt. All
Didn't
these
we
measures
do
are
that
on the
once?
table.
Didn't we do
But
that
Trump
in
is
South
not
America?
calling it a full bailout, and understandably so.
And it
The
was
US
like a
is going
problem.
through a cost
It
of
blew
living
up.
crisis, so bailing out a foreign country won't play well. Plus, it does not exactly scream America first. The Democrats are already opposing it. Listen to what a senator said, and I'm quoting. At a time when Americans are struggling to afford groceries, it is deeply troubling that the president intends to use significant emergency funds to inflate the value of a foreign government's currency and bolster its financial markets. So the decision won't be popular, yet Trump appears keen to do it, and it could be a lifeline for Javier Milei in Argentina. The country has $42 billion in debt. They must repay around $10 billion in the first half of 2026. Both the IMF and the World Bank have extended help, but those come with conditions. Javier Milei cannot let the peso go beyond a certain level. When the currency crashed, his government had to defend it. Last week alone, they sold $1 billion in foreign reserves. This is money Argentina needs to repay loans. They cannot afford to use it to prop up their currency. And that is why Trump's role is key. With the US, with American help, Milei can defend the peso. He can carry on with his chainsaw economics. It's pretty clear that Washington will help Argentina. The only question is, how much help?
Oh, I do love her. She is really animated too about some of the stories, and I really enjoy it. I don't know how I don't know if I come across her always on First Post or if it's something else. Palki Sharma is her name. Oh my gosh. All right, so that kind of ends the my Millier piece. Okay. Well, I think that might be where I leave it for today. I've taken a lot of your time. As usual, I try and take as much of your time in the morning as possible. But let's take a minute just to decompress. Remember the penguins. Remember the Magellanic penguins running towards freedom. That's wonderful. That's good news. They seem pretty happy. Who was that lady? She's a journalist. I think she's based in India. I could be totally wrong, so please forgive me. But her name's Palki Sharma, and she just appears usually for like independent news sources that I see. So I've seen her a couple of different times related to different stories. But I enjoy her energy. I think she's got good energy. She brings good energy to the journalism, so I appreciate her for that. Oh, Meowing Star, I love that. I love that. Rainbow hearts. But yeah, I mean, wow. Yeah, just remember the penguins. The beautiful penguins who do have like a beautiful love between male penguins, amongst male penguins, female penguins, amongst female. I love the penguin family. Penguins have always been a model, I think, for society. Like, make sure everybody gets help. She does seem very forthright. Oh, I don't have Upadhyay. I don't know how to say that. I like her. I like her energy. Muskie, thanks for the donation. I will definitely get a pre-roll, and that's going to buy me a really good pre-roll. Oof, that's going to be a good one. I can't wait. And I hope the rest of your Thursday is good. I hope we get some good news. I'll take good news every day. I don't know what it'll be, but I hope so. I don't know if Radical Pod is going to be on tonight, Radicalized Pod, but look for Rad Pod on YouTube. Jim Stewartson, Heidi, and Hi-Fi dropping the big interviews, man. They get some wonderful interviews. Oh, you missed the penguins? Well, I'm going to play them one more time. Hold on. Just because. Hold on. Where's my Magellanic penguins? What do I do with my penguins? Hold on, I can find them. But I can't type. Videos. Here we go. No, wait. Where is it? Come on. Oh my God. Okay, hold on. Sorry. I'm a goofball. I'm a goofball. Yes, I am. Microchip your penguins today and get your penguins spayed or neutered. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Don't have pet penguins. Okay, just don't. Okay, here we go. I found it. Hold on. Don't go yet. Okay, hold on. Here we go. This is just for you, Jane. Uruguay. Love the guay. Thank you, Teresa.
La mayoría llegan desnutridos por falta de su alimento en el mar, pasan muchos días sin comer, empiezan a debilitarse, incluso algunos llegan anémicos y empiezan a salir a la costa. También muchos empiezan a tener su pluma en mal estado, que eso lo que hace es que el frío del agua y mismo el agua le filtre y bueno, y tengan la necesidad de salir, que no puedan seguir viaje. Y muchos también han llegado heridos por redes de pesca.
Look at they run. This guy. And they're surfing. So there you go. Happy penguins. Let's get a shot. There they go. There's the happy penguins. That's what you want to hold in your mind today. Uruguay used to be on my short list. Now, I mean, I don't want to travel too much, but boy, it would be nice to see them. It's called the Conservative Reserve Program. Oh, thanks, Jim. Appreciate that. So we love the penguins. The penguins are beautiful. Beautiful penguins. They make us happy. All right. I love you guys. I really hope you have a great rest of your day. And hope to see you tomorrow night for trivia. Trivia to end the week. And thank God we made it through another week of utter hell. Thank God we made it to Friday, just at least maybe one more day. Yeah, I know I've got beautiful kids playing in the background, playing outside. Awesome. I love it. All right, love you guys. Really, have a wonderful day, and I will see you later. We're going to do the outro. Okay. Bye.